told you I found you a perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Hello and welcome to A Perfect Match. I'm Aysha, and today we are going to be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 13. The season is kind of flying by. So, of course, with me, I have my amazing co-host who right now I see that you're amazing. But when I first met you, I saw your background. I said, man, this man is he's a bad podcaster. I know it.
This man is so simple. He got nothing back there.
He basic. There's no way he's gonna get like any type of sense of humor out. It was just like written on the wall. But then now that I've gotten to know you, I'm like, oh, he isn't half bad.
He said, you just like your wall, blank, just a blank personality, just nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. You know what? I'm just gonna go make a quick call. Just real quick. I'll be going for like 2 minutes to 5 hours.
5 hours, between there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say my name, or did you just
oh yeah, no, Jason Reed. Jason, look. Okay, maybe me thinking that wasn't the right thing to say. I meant I could see how other people could think that.
You're just making it worse. Like stop digging the hole. Stop digging the grave. Just stop. Just quit while you're behind. I can't wait to talk about that. Because that was something else.
Really was.
Aysha, even though you just literally insulted me, but you don't mean to insult me, but you are insulting me. Listen, I want to get this podcast off on the right foot.
Okay.
With you and our listeners / viewers. So everybody, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, just put your hand to the screen and feel the heart chakra with me. I want to transfer our energies. Yeah, we're gonna do.
Push back hard.
You feel it?
Push hard, guys.
You be pushing. You feel it? All right. Now, keep that good feeling with you the whole podcast. I've transferred my heart energy chakra to all of you. Hope you felt that. Hope it wasn't too hard. I didn't mean to. I get carried away with my heart chakra sometimes. It just happens. But hope you're all okay. You feel my heart chakra. We're ready for this podcast.
It happens to the best of us, Boy.
Oh, my I thought we had our intimacy episode, and this one.
It's just like I thought we had our hometown episode, and then it happened. The next one, we're on this like ripple effect of like Camille and Thomas are on the appropriate track, and then they have to like catch everybody else up. But then we're getting double the dose of Camille and Thomas because they're just soaking up all of the process.
They're just throwing everything into the pot, like random expert visits, random letters about your younger self, random intimacy exercises. There's no structure here. Everything's all over the place. I think it's because we have so many people in so many different stages of the relationship. Because we have Thomas and Camille, our gold star couple. And I guess it's hard to come up with a second place. I guess second place would be Juan and Carla because they don't hate each other.
It's the sweet spot where they're actually friends.
Yeah, they can stand to being around each other.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be really hard for a lot of our couples. So I guess they're second place.
Yeah. So yes, we will get into all of that and more. But first, make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can get all of our podcasts for A Perfect Match. Love is Blind, The Ultimatum, which I forgot that we covered in like December or something like that. November, I don't know.
So they throw in these shows fast and furious. Like before you blink, and we're going to get a new Love is Blind season. So
yeah. True. It comes out Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's right
Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, Love is Blind is back Valentine's Day. Hopefully we have some better success, because if you do watch Love is Blind and you're not online, Ashley and Tyler
Oh,
are
yes.
no longer together.
Who could have seen that coming?
That I was shocked.
If only someone could have
Shocked.
warned her that this is not going to go well for her.
Now, the way that my mom commented in the Facebook group and said, "We tried to tell her."
Your mom commented the Facebook group? How did I miss that?
Yeah, she's always in there. She's real
Really?
active.
Is she under a pseudonym?
She's probably under her maiden name.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now I'll be on the lookout.
She said, "Yes, she's been creeping."
I'll be on the lookout. Okay. I didn't even know. I did not even know. If I would have known.
Yeah, I bust
I
out
know.
laughing when I saw that. She said, "We tried to tell her."
we try to let her know, but
Like,
sometimes
Mom,
people are hard headed. They don't want to listen.
you got a direct line to Ashley or what?
I've been texting her, you know.
I tried to tell her.
Trying to tell her.
But yes, make sure you go subscribe to Love at First Sight feed. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Stay tuned for Later Daters. I know we did the push a couple episodes ago, so stay tuned. That is coming very, very, very soon. Our thoughts and opinions on Later Daters, because y'all pushed us far past the goal that we had set for ourselves. But leave us a 5-star rating and review, and we'll shout it out on the podcast. So we are working our way through right now. And so I'm going to shout out a 5-star review from a college friend of mine, Micken. Thank you so much.
I feel like a quarter of our reviews come from your friends. I don't know if they're accurate or like you're just getting people to review. I don't know.
Listen,
it feels like
Jason, when you're out with your friends, you don't just bring up, "Hey, do you watch Married at First Sight?" If you do, I have a podcast.
my friends go, "The what now?" The what? You have a podcast? Who are you again? But no, I guess when you're friends with like everyone, then I guess we were going to just randomly get some people that listen to the podcast that are also your friends, because you are friends with literally everybody in the world.
Look, wait. I mean, it is a thing where I go to public places in Houston and I'm like, "Oh, so and so, hey."
Mm-hmm.
My friends are like, "Oh, who? How many people are you gonna know?"
Yeah, I mean, listen. In the pre-show, you were like, "I think this is my friend," and I was like,
"You're like, no way."
Is this another Jackie O situation where you're just like, "It's got to be this person. They live in Chicago." Like,
no, literally, I went to see Issa Rae a couple weekends ago, and huge, like so many people. It like we're walking through a crowd, right? And then I see a girl who works at Pepper and Cinnamon's daycare, and she was like,
these people are everywhere. You talk about these dog people all the time. You talk about when you go in there, they notice you. You talk about running into them in random places.
What can I say?
How many people work at this doggy daycare?
Not that many. Look, Houston is huge, but it's small too. My world is smaller, at least. So Micken said, great podcast for reality love shows. I've known about this podcast for a while, but finally started listening to it when season 18 of MAFS drops. Now this podcast is a part of my weekly routine to listen to after every TV episode. I've even started going back to previous episodes of different shows and seasons. Aysha and Jason are the perfect duo. I love Aysha's love for love and wanting the couples to succeed, and I appreciate Jason's desire for the drama. I watch all of these shows for both reasons.
There you go. Well, welcome to the family.
Balance.
Micken, you came in this season. Listen, we got like, how many seasons have we done together now? This is our 4th season together.
We started at season 14.
14, 15, 16.
Wow,
17, we've got 4 seasons on our belt. Wow. So listen, you got plenty of content to go check out from me and Aysha if you want to hear more of our thoughts. Like, you have a treasure trove. So I'm jealous of you. I wish I was new to us so I could go back and listen to us before. But welcome to the family, Micken. Glad to have you aboard. The review I want to shout out is from Chanel15. It's entitled "My Favorite MAFS Recap Show." Are there others?
Don't you know, Mr. I creep over to other podcasts to recap the show?
What do you? That's not a MAFS podcast. That is a that is a podcast that sometimes talks about MAFS only when I show up, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone out there. But yes, it's my favorite MAFS recap show. Just kidding, Tane. Just kidding. You two crack me up every week. As soon as I watch the episode, I'm ready for the recap so I can see if we all agree about these fools. And without question, you're spot on with your opinions. My boyfriend thinks it's insane I watch the show, and even more insane, I like to follow up with listening to other people talk about it. But I'll never quit, you guys. Give us later daters recaps next. It's on the way. You heard.
On the way.
It's on the way. Hold on.
Yes. All right. So make sure also that you go join our Facebook group. It is called A Perfect Match Podcast. And we have a great time in there talking about the show, the episodes as it's happening. And you have to enter a password every week when you join.
You have to do something.
Like, you do have to do something to get in. What is it? Enter a password. So this week, the password is...
The password this week is Tom Much Information. You know, like too much information, like we got in that Camille and Thomas segment. Oh boy. That was I did not need to know all that information about Tom and Camille's bedroom activities, but Dr. P had made sure we had all the info.
Listen. That, yes. If you know me, if you listen to me on this podcast, you know how that stuff just makes me cringe.
Yes, which is why you gave me the Camille and Thomas segment this week.
I said, yeah, I think they should go second or fourth.
Mm-hmm. You think I didn't notice? I did.
Okay. Well, let's start. Let's talk. Let's get into these couples, and we're going to get one out of the way. That honestly, why are they still on this show?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know what the rules are in terms of like the payment structure. Like, do you have to be here to get paid? I don't know what the thing is. I don't know why we're still trying. I don't know why let me put it this way. I don't know why Ikechi is still willing to do this since he doesn't want to be here. And I guess we'll see next episode where he tries to get out of it. By
this one?
Yeah, that guy.
This guy right here.
This guy. If you're not watching, we have the picture of Ikechi that I posted in the Facebook group next to a Mr. Potato Head with his yellow glasses on his head.
I mean, I don't. Is Ikechi on the left or the right?
Yeah, you don't know. It's uncanny resemblance. These two creatures out here, Mr. Potato Head and Ikechi. Someone's like, "You have to give Mr. Potato Head a backpack." I said, Ike wishes he could store stuff in his back like Mr. Potato Head can. Mr. Potato Head has his own backpack built in him. Okay, did you play with Mr. Potato Head? Or is that too old for you?
Mr. Potato Head?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't own one. I knew of them.
I definitely owned one.
Did. Do you get different pieces to make him look different?
I mean, I'm sure now they have like these they probably have like accessory packs where you can buy different things to Mr. Potato Head, but I'm pretty sure I only had the stuff that came with the Mr. Potato Head. There may have been like a couple different eyes, some different facial hair. Like there's that mustache, there's the nose, maybe a different hat or two. I'm sure like there's tons and tons and tons of options where you can deck Mr. Potato Head out in whatever you want to deck him out in.
Okay, different hats.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure they have more out there.
Good to know.
But yeah, listen, I was wondering like, why do I like this episode so much? You know why? It's because we got minimal Ikechi.
We did. We really did. One scene.
Yeah, one scene and he was gone. It's like, this feels so much more peaceful in this episode.
Honestly, and that's sad.
It is. It really is.
So we started out the whole episode with them. They meet at an ice cream place. I thought it was gelato, but they kept saying ice cream.
Listen, she had that, I guess you would call it like a ice cream flight. Like she had like the 4 things of ice cream. I was like, oh, like that is, first of all, that was a lot. But I'm not mad at it.
I mean, it's a way for you to taste multiple flavors. There's a place I love called Jenny's Ice Cream.
Go ahead, give the shout out. You got a promo code ready? Go ahead.
Jenny's is everywhere. Like Jenny's is not just in Houston. I think Jenny's started in some random state.
Mhm.
No offense if you're from that random state. I just don't know what it is. But Jenny's ice cream is delicious. And they do like a sample. So you could do like, I think up to 12 flavors.
But
And
these
then
look
you
like
could
full
share with
ass.
people.
These like full ass scoops. Like this looked like a
Yeah.
full scoop like thing. Like this wasn't no like sample. This wasn't no Baskin
Yeah, it
Robbins
wasn't like a little cup. It's a full
little pink
scoop.
spoon. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, that's a lot of ice cream, but I'm not mad at it. I'd do that too. But
And
it
it seemed
didn't
like
look
it was
like,
just for her.
yeah,
It wasn't like they were sharing.
It was like she's like, you know what? This ice cream is good. She's like dipping in all four of the things. He was like sipping a stupid smoothie or something. I'm sure if she'd even suggested they share that, he'd be like, all right, we're not there yet. I don't know you yet. I don't know you enough to share an ice cream.
When I want to eat my own ice cream, I'll eat my own ice cream.
If I wanted to eat your ice cream, I just said I want to eat your ice cream. I am not at a level where I want to eat your ice cream yet. I barely know you. I don't know you. God, let me have my piece over here with my smoothie or milkshake, whatever this is. Let me have my piece over here with this. That's how crappy Akechi is. He goes to an ice cream shop and gets a milkshake. You don't do that. You always saw that for losers. You go there and you get ice cream, especially in a specialty ice cream shop. You go get ice cream.
And them workers were like, oh, you gonna be the one to get a milkshake. I gotta clean the blender.
You gotta bust out the ice cream milkshake machine. You know how little we use that thing?
Oh. You don't want a scoop? It's right here.
I gotta go get the milk. Like, this ain't an easy process, sir.
Oh my gosh. But MM does strike me as the type of person to like, she is not afraid to break the bank and buy this sampler pack so that she could get a little taste of everything, even if she didn't eat it all.
You got it. You get 2 of those fights when you go. You didn't even finish them all.
One
you
of everything.
Money, like, I don't like that one that much. It's okay. I'm gonna leave that there. Are you sure you paid a lot for that? It's not a lot for me. Okay, I'm Asian.
Are you a sample guy? Like if they say like, do you want to try a sample or do you just commit?
If I go to Baskin Robbins and like I see something that I have not had before, I'm not afraid to go get a sample spoon. I'm not afraid to be like, hey, can you just like sample spoon me?
Mm-hmm. See, I'm
not afraid.
I'll do it if I just really don't want to take the risk, but I feel like anything past 2 samples.
Yeah,
you just
I don't want people
looking
at
me. Scoop of ice cream.
I don't want nobody looking at me like, really? You want a third sample? Like, right. Really? I'm afraid. That's who I am. I'm afraid to piss off the workers and be like, you want another sample? Like that's what my personality is. I don't want to upset anyone.
Like, please don't be mad at me.
Yeah. I don't want to inconvenience you. Can I just get another sample, please? I just feel like someone's gonna be like, no, you can't have any more samples. Like, right. I'm just afraid someone's gonna yell at me. But what is your go-to ice cream? You're going to the ice cream shop.
Oh,
what are you getting?
See, I love the fruity ones. So like any type of sherbet, like I might default to that. Oh, not a bubble gum, but like an orange sherbet, like a rainbow sherbet. If there's like a cotton candy flavor.
I was thinking maybe if they had like gold shavings in it, like that would be what you were down for. I don't know.
No. The last thing I'm getting is like a vanilla. Okay, so I don't like chocolate. So everything that's chocolate is off the board. But I'm not gonna get just vanilla.
Oh, who gets vanilla?
Some people do.
Yeah, if you get vanilla, spice up your life. That's coming from me, who's the pickiest eater in the world. Like, you know.
Yeah, what's your go-to?
Well, I mean, my go-to is probably just as boring as vanilla. It's cookies and cream. Like that's so regular. I feel like that's like the next one down from like a vanilla and a chocolate. It's like cookies and cream is like everyone's favorite.
Yeah, and if they can do cookies and cream well, they're a good ice cream shop.
Yeah, if I'm feeling adventurous, I'll get like a s'more type of thing. Like a lot of people have the s'more stuff now. If I'm feeling adventurous, if I'm feeling cool, if I'm feeling awesome, and also just a chocolate fudge is also like, I don't know what your problem is. You don't like chocolate, but just a good chocolate fudge is just
I don't like the taste.
Delish. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about this.
Greater than talking about Akechi.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Would you rather talk about ice cream or a Keiichi?
Shoot, okay. Jenny's at Christmas had. No, I'm kidding. They did have a gingerbread molasses flavor that I got it at least 3 times. I had to stop going.
Oof.
It was so good. So he walks in. She's there, like getting her stuff first. He walks in without a backpack.
Progress.
Yes,
And
exactly.
he actually walked in with like without the stank attitude to begin with. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, we're doing a little better. Like
Yeah,
he actually like tried to banter with her,
a
like which is
tad.
just the,
Yeah.
the weirdest, stupid. Like, did
Did
you
you
get
get
taller?
taller?
That, that's your intro. Like, ugh.
But what was the most? But okay, that's a step in the right direction. But what made me kind of like cringe in my seat was there was no hug, no handshake, no acknowledgement that the person that just walked in is someone that you know.
Yeah, like if I'm behind the counter, I'm like, why is a stranger coming in here and asking her
Right?
about her ice
Do
cream
you
flavors?
know
Did she get
him?
taller? Like, it doesn't seem like y'all know each other. He's like, you're right. I don't know her.
Right, right.
That's why I refuse to have sex with her because I don't know her. Like,
Oh,
okay, that's too much information for me, sir. I'm just a worker.
so we get a confessional from her. She's like, I signed up for MAFS to create a marriage and grow with a husband. She said, my husband she said, yeah, she said her husband requested to take a step back. She's like, so Ike is going to be dating me. She said that Ike, asked her to be present. So she's just gonna just be. That's it. So they sit down and he's like, so when's the last time you've been, on a date to an ice cream place? She's like, it's been some time. It's been some
His
time.
small talk is the worst.
Awful.
And this comes from someone that has awful small talk. His small talk is like my small talk. Like I don't know what to say. I was like, so ice cream, right?
Yum.
Yeah.
How's that weather out there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. That's my level of small talk. If you ever met me out and we don't have anything to talk about, I'm like, so like, did you get a load of the big game yesterday? I don't
It's
know.
like June.
Yeah. There's no
What
sports going
game?
on.
Yeah.
The big game. I'm sure there was some game somewhere. That's his level of small talk. Like,
It was, yeah, it's so, yeah, and he's doing this because it's like, look, I'm trying to show that I'm trying.
mhm.
But it's like you clearly feel so awkward around her that this
Yeah.
is the best you can do. So we get a confessional from him saying just as much. He's like, it's awkward trying to go backward to get to know each other, um, which is something they should have been doing in the first place. But he's looking forward to seeing what's happening. He's like, so let me ask you something. What brings you joy? She's like, well, this ice cream right now is bringing me joy. She's like, but also food, feeling valued, support. And so she asked him, what brings him joy? He's like, knowing I'll meet my niece this weekend. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're going to Houston. He's, oh, yeah, I'm going to homecoming. I'm going to get to hang out with my nephew, my brother, my mom. Yeah.
So this is a weird, like, because he asked what brings you joy, as in like what brings your life joy, in a general sense.
Yes.
She says all things that bring her joy. He's talking about the next thing he's going to be doing. I'm going to have fun doing that. Like, doesn't really match up. I feel like he thought, like, I'm gonna hit her with this one.
Mm-hmm.
What brings you joy? Like,
Yeah.
because he's that type of guy, right? He's just like that fluffy, like we talking these like what an existential question, and he feels like he's asking, what brings you joy?
Mm-hmm.
And then
What's your biggest weakness?
yeah, and she answers honestly and truthfully, like the way you would think. And he's just talking about like what he's gonna be doing for the weekend. Like, okay,
Right.
I thought you were gonna say like the things in your life, like what things do you like to do when you're happy? Like,
Right.
he's just like talking about going to visit his people.
Yeah. And so we already know that MM is at the point where she is like, she wants him at this point to be pursuing her. She has tried her hardest. She's past the point of putting forth more effort than he is. So she's like, if he wants this, he's going to be the one putting in the effort. And so he had mentioned, like, oh, he's going to see his mom. So MM's like, I'd love to see your mother. Like, which is like, hint, hint, like it would have been like something that I would have wanted to do. But of
Yeah,
course, in the state that they're in.
crickets. Crickets.
Yeah.
He literally sits there and like stares at her, like not even
Yeah.
stares at her, stares off into space. That's what Akechi does when he doesn't want to answer a question, just stares off into space, literally. But like like I'm here for you. I'm down to ride for you, But why in the world made you say something like that? Like why? Like, and she'll talk about it more in the episode. Like, he didn't even invite me to homecoming. Do you think you're in a space to be going to homecoming? Like that?
But no, look, it would be a sign of showing effort. It's not like, oh, if this was actually going to, like, we know based on his actions, he has no intention of turning this thing around.
Right.
Like,
but like,
literally,
I thought you would notice that, I thought you were on the same page as us
she
now.
still has that ounce of hope that he's gonna like kick it into gear and put forth effort and show that he wants to be in this.
Because when she said that, I was like, do you really think that's a reasonable expectation for you to have right now, MM? Like, you're jumping the gun again, MM. Just sit back, let him come to you. But she's still just like I'd love to see your mom. As in, like, no, like don't beg him to invite you. Like, don't do that. That's not what we're doing. Stop.
And it's like, I feel like she said that not in order to get like an invitation at that moment, but to even acknowledge that that's something that they should be doing at this point. Yeah. Like, to acknowledge that he didn't even have the thought to say like, oh, this would be a good opportunity for her to meet my mom. But that would be if they were like actually preparing this thing. Like, the fact that they haven't even talked since, like, there hasn't been much happening or much conversation since they had decided to, quote unquote, move back in together with the experts. It's just kind of like this action, I guess, him going home for homecoming was her finally seeing like, okay, this is like, he for sure is not trying now. Now I finally get it. He doesn't want to try in this.
It's like, girl, like, just learn from your mistakes. He's not going to invite you to homecoming. Like, he's not going to go on a overnight trip with you. Like, this is not things he's willing to do right now. Like, and stop trying to be like, oh, I'd love to see your mom. Like, like, that's not going to get you the sparks you want. I feel like it's going to be something more for him to be like, see, she's doing it again. She's trying to encroach on my life.
It's
what
so
are you, my
hard.
Wife?
It's so hard because it's like you don't want to knock her for having hope, but then you also want to say, look at the material.
Where's the hope coming from? Like, what? Like, the hope is coming from your imagination.
Just wanting marriage.
Yeah, true. But like, I'm like Pia. Like, you want marriage with this guy? Like, this is the guy you want marriage with?
I'm sure she wouldn't feel that way if she had heard all his confessionals, had heard all that, like him talking to the producer, talking about, you want me to go back and sit next to that? Like, that would have been it.
I mean, I think call her an asshole, probably.
That should have been it.
That should have been it.
Yeah. So he's like, so once she says the mother comment, he doesn't respond. And then he's like, well, no, if you'd like, I can text you in the morning and at night to make sure you made it home okay. She's like, yeah, I definitely like communication. So he's like, okay, I brought some cards so we could play blackjack. And so like that, I'm sure she had noticed before this moment, but that gives her a reason to like look at his hand. And she's like, oh, so you opted not to wear your ring today? So, like when I do the dishes, I take it off. And so like I forgot to put it back on.
Yeah, it's just more evidence that he's just not into this at all.
Like, I guarantee you, he doesn't know when the last time he wore his ring.
No. Like, she hasn't seen him in like days, so I'm sure he is. It's like he took it off and just like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about putting it on.
Yeah. So we get a confessional from her. She's like, she thinks it is very disrespectful that he didn't wear his ring. She feels like he's opted out of this marriage, and him going to Houston for homecoming is already an indicator of that. The girls and the guys did get together this episode, and so when all the girls were together, did share about like what had happened so far with Ikechi. And she said like his actions have shown he doesn't want this marriage. He didn't have his ring on, and Camille said, oh no.
I love Camille and her reactions.
Yes, Camille is beside herself every time she hears new info. She just can't. And so she said, like they've been moving at such a slow pace because he refuses to open up about things. And Michelle's like, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. So she said, Kechi wants to date, but little does he know he never would have gotten a second date.
For real. Preach. Like, come
I
on.
thought that was
That was
hilarious.
funny.
And then on the guy's side, they were like, oh, where's Kechi? And then Thomas was like, not like he would have shared anyway.
Ooh. So nobody likes you on this cast. Like,
because sometimes at least the same gender will be like, oh, well, that's our friend.
yeah, listen, David at the guys' night gets even a little like friends discount of like, well, maybe she got read the wrong thing. Who knows? Ikechi's just like, no, we don't even like him. He wouldn't share anyway if he was here. So fuck, so forget this guy. They hate him. No one in this cast likes this man at all.
Cannot stand it. It gives me like, I feel like the last time we experienced this was probably like Alyssa, when like the girls didn't like her and her marriage wasn't good.
Well, I feel like even then, Katina was an Alyssa fan for a minute.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
There is no one on Ikechi's side.
No one. They're like, oh, listen, like, nah, he would have said nothing anyway. So
yeah, like, what's the point? Why he gonna be here just to hear about us? So then we get like a selfie camera situation of at home. She's waking up at her home.
She loves these selfie cams. I'm like, girl.
She is vlogging. Okay. She said she is at her home instead of the apartment that was provided by MAFS because there's no peace in that place. And she's like, she doesn't know when or if.
That's my line.
Yeah. He said, what'd she say about peace? She's the one that provided peace.
I say there's no peace in this home. That's my thing.
She doesn't know when or if she's going back.
I said, I wrote my notes. Why would you go back? Like, what is the point of going back to this empty apartment?
He's going to come back from Houston. He's going to right his wrongs. He's going to have flowers for her, and he's going to pursue her.
Well, I mean, according to the preview, he's come back from Houston with divorce papers. So the total opposite of what she's thinking, if that's what she's thinking.
I know. Oh my gosh. And the fact, okay, so here we go. So she goes out on her balcony. Beautiful balcony, by the way. Great view. I would be out there all the time if I
you like, oh, she just had to do it on her balcony to show off the view. Okay, I see it. See, she's belittling me again. She belittled me again by going on her balcony and shooting this on her fantastic view on her balcony. She is making me feel small. She's making me feel less than.
She knows I don't have a balcony to do that on.
That's a direct shot at me.
Yes.
Because it's all about me.
So she calls Dr. Pia. And she said, well, she tells Dr. Pia, we decided not to move back in together. We both decided. And Dr. Pia is like, well, I'm confused because I thought y'all had forgiven each other the last time we talked to you.
I'm like, Dr. Pia, what about your intel? Why don't you already know this? Aren't you getting intel from?
She said, I have not checked my emails.
Yeah. No one has updated me yet on your situation. You know, it's been 3 days.
So MM was like, nothing happened after that. So she's like, we have not talked. And Dr. Pierre's like, oh, okay. So that's the issue. And so she's like, I'm at my home. He's in Houston. And he said he would communicate while he's gone. He hasn't. And Dr. P is like, well, have you reached out like to see if he made it okay? And she's like, no, I don't want to pressure him. I'm not prepared to get the reaction from him if I were to reach out. Yep. And I feel like he's abandoned his marriage. And she's like, I want us to have healthy communication, but I feel like I'm being stonewalled. And Dr. P is like, well, I think we're not going to accomplish anything until he gets back from Houston.
So I don't know why he even called me. Just a snitch. Okay.
What do you expect me to do now?
Why are you telling to the teacher?
Right. She's like, Anne?
So what do you want me to do?
Right. So.
And this is my problem. How?
Right.
Enlighten me.
Right. So that's what we got for MM and Akechi this week. We did, yeah, like you said in the preview, we got him serving her papers and him saying, "Can you sign this, please?" And she said, "No."
Get him, MM. Get him. I'm all on MM's side on this. Like,
Keep him trapped.
yeah, exactly. If this is what it seems to be, and he's just like blindsided her with this, like I wouldn't sign those 2 papers either.
Absolutely. There's no way he prepped her for this.
Like you just gonna show up with divorce papers? Get out of here.
She said, "No, thank you."
Yep.
And he's gonna throw his little temper tantrum and walk off and be like, "Whatever."
Be legally married to this
not the
man
last
forever.
thing y'all discussed.
Be legally married to this man forever.
As long as possible, honestly.
Get half of those glasses. Get half of that backpack. Get half of whatever's in that backpack.
Because what did he get out of this? I really want to know what was the benefit of you applying twice?
I mean, he thought the benefit was going to be
book sales.
Book sales one, and that he would come off as this like suave, like debonair guy that says all the right things, and he would have been paired with this woman that was so awed by him and his stupid sayings and his little poems and all this, but he didn't get that.
Yeah,
he didn't get that, and then obviously he doesn't watch the show because there aren't too many women in the MAFS universe that probably would have fallen for this. I feel like MAFS typically they will cast like intelligent, strong, independent women. So I don't know who he thought he was going to get that would have fallen for his stuff, because that's what he thought was going to happen. He thought he was going to come in here and sweep this woman off her feet with his nonsense words and his inspirational stories. So yeah, like that's what he thought he was going to get. He thought he was going to come out this smelling like roses, but his real personality shown, and he thought he was something he was not. I think that's what this is. And when things got real, he showed who he was.
Yeah, and I wonder if he would have fared better. I wonder if he would have fared better on like Love Is Blind. Like we wouldn't have I don't know if we would have gotten to see this side of him.
I think we would have gotten a Ramses and what was her name? Ramses and
Marissa.
I think we would have gotten that type of situation. Like honestly, we would have gotten because all those guys on that season were kind of like Keiichi, like big talking in the pods. He would have given her poems every time they got together. He would have played his bass awfully, which is what he did on this show. He would have sung his stupid song. He would have swept this woman off her feet in the pods. Then they would have gotten to real life, and it would have crashed and burned like it did here.
Yeah,
I think that's easy to say. I think that's easy to something like this to see how that would have gone.
Yeah. Well,
so 5, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being we think they'll be together by the reunion, 1 being we think they will not. Easily a 1.
It's a 1, of course.
And it's just, I mean, they were 3s until episode 7.
For who? For everyone?
Everyone, yeah.
Oh. For days I don't remember.
Yeah.
10 weeks ago.
Oh my God. Oh, I know. 7.
Like 3 months ago.
6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago? Oh, they said since episode 3.
No, episode 7. We gave them 3s until episode 7.
Well, like 2 months because we had that 2-week break.
Yeah.
Either. Next up, we've got Aysha's favorite segments, Camille and Thomas.
Oh gosh.
So we come into the Camille and Thomas segment in a very interesting scene here. We're just chilling in the bedroom. We are hanging out and we are using a massager on each other. Because we all know Thomas has bad knees, bad hamstrings, bad everything. But he's massaging her first. He's using a massager on her legs, on her hammies and her back and everything. In a confessional, Camille says, Thomas is the nicest person she's ever met. But that does kind of translate into the bedroom, and she wants things to get a little more spicy in the bedroom. Basically, she's saying that Tom does basic Caucasian sex. If y'all remember from
Love Is Blind, yeah, season 1.
No, that's not Love Is Blind. That's Married at First Sight.
No, well, Giannina said that about
before
Damien.
Giannina was
who said that?
Jamie and Beth. Was it normal? What was it? Normal Caucasian sex? Was that what it was?
You said Jamie and Beth?
Yeah, you don't remember that? That's a classic.
Jamie Otis?
No, Beth. Jamie is the guy in that
Oh,
situation.
Beth and Jamie. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, she did say that.
Yeah, that was where it first originated. That's where Genie got it from. Okay. But anyway, yeah. So basically, she's saying that they need to spice up their life in the bedroom. It's her turn to use the massager on him. It's very fun. She turns up the intensity on the massager and like basically tortures him with like level 4 massage. She's she's on top. She's literally like she plops down on him like literally hurts, probably hurts his back. She's like using the massage. He's
like,
crying for help.
Camille, you know this man is so fragile.
Fragile, his brittle bones. But she's like, he's complaining. She's like, don't be a little bitch. And she's like, she gets very aggro. And she's like, oh, sorry, couldn't help myself. She's like, this will remind you of your best behavior. And Tom's like, but what did I do? What did I do to get not be on my best behavior? So that was just like such a like it's just a fun little segment. I'm wondering what they tell them to do when they're at the cameras are at the house. Like, do something fun, massage each other. I don't know, because it seems like a weird thing for the cameras to be there for, but whatever.
They're open to it.
Yeah, they are very like they're not afraid to do fun, interesting things.
Yeah.
So next up we get the Pia visit. Pia has come to town to visit our folks, most of our folks, those that deserve it, even some that don't. And you have called it out so much that when I see Camille in her monochromatic two-piece
that was the goal. I wanted you to start noticing it.
Yeah, you really accepted me. I'm like, look, I'm Asia gonna get a kick out of this. She's in her green two-piece. So we sit down and Pia's like, so how's everything going? Like, last time I was here, you guys had just started having sex. Like, is that's still happening? They're like, yep, still happening. Pia's like, so are you guys like switching up in the sex lane? Like, are you doing different stuff? I'm like, no, I mean, not really. We're just kind of sticking to the basics. Pia says, well, what have you guys been doing? What has been working for you? Basically it's Thomas likes it when Camille initiates, and that's pretty much usually what happens. Peter asks Camille, so how does that feel for you? Camille says, well, yeah, that does fit with my nature. I am a little more dominant. I do like to initiate more, but she would like to see him initiate a little bit more. She doesn't want to initiate all the time. Thomas says for him, he is a giver sexually. And Pia says, does that mean orally? I was like, whoa. I think we surmised what he meant when he said that. We need to just spell it out, Pia. Okay. She says, is that orally? And Thomas says, yes, that is correct.
Yeah, because we were all so confused. We had no idea what they were talking about.
We had no clue. Camille says, yeah, she's always been a little more dominant in the bedroom. It comes from her growing up and having to take the lead in her family. I was like, that's quite an interesting
comparison.
Because you took lead in your family, it bled over to the bedroom. Okay. She says, she would like to take the back seat more, have him initiate. But this is really kind of the first time she's saying that out loud to Thomas, because he didn't really know until she just said this. Pia says, is there anything else that you haven't shared with Thomas that you might like? She says, yes, I do want to be more assertive. She says, it's okay to throw me around, give me direction, pull my hair, smack my ass. Like, oh
she said, I have specifics. One sec.
Yeah, she's like, let me get my list out. She likes those things, but there has to be more emotional connection. Pia's asked him what his reaction is. He says, I'm open to it. No problem. I am. He says, I can be fun and adventurous, so he's totally with it. Next thing you know, all of a sudden, Pastor Cal flies out of the closet. He's been taking notes. He's been recording this whole thing. It's like, talk more about your bedroom activities. I want to know. I got it all written down. Is there a camera nearby? Anybody? That didn't actually happen. So.
That did not
happen. Did not happen. I know you probably thought it did, but it didn't. So Pia asked Thomas, like, what do you need her to do more of in bed? And Thomas says, well, I talked about how I was a giver. I would like her to return the favor. orally. Okay, we got it. I don't know. That surprised me a little bit.
He also talked about how his neck was starting to hurt.
I mean, I assume it's from him being such a giver. That's why his neck is hurting.
I
Is that
know. I'm saying
okay?
we're way too deep in their bedroom.
We know too much. We know
We
too
know
much.
what happened to secrets?
Pascal says never too much. It's never too much. I want more. Give me more. Um, but yeah, apparently Camille has not been doing the same for Thomas. It's like, oh, interesting. Interesting.
She's well, explain what she said.
She
Why?
Camille says, "Listen, I don't have, like it's not a thing I will never do." She says, "But it's just for me, for her. Sorry, for her. Make that clear. For her, it's a much deeper thing for her to do that." She says it's a down the road type thing. Tom says, "Hey, I'm willing to get there. Trust me. Let's get there as soon as let's bump it up. Let's get there. I'm willing to wait, but let's get there." Camille says, "Putting more time in." She says having more sexual encounters will help them get to that level. Yeah. So Pia says, "So Thomas, is it too soon to do the?" So Pia asked Camille, "So is it too soon for him to be doing the hair pulling and smacking you all around?" I was like, "Smacking you all around?" I was like, I don't know if we said that, Dr. Pia. I don't like I don't know about smacking her all around. But Camille says, "No, like I'm there. I feel like I'm ready to be fully unlocked." And Pia was like, "Camille, I think you are pretty well unlocked." Pia does let them know that she does have a basket coming to help them get more down the road in sexual intimacy. She says, "Thomas, it sounds like you have a total green light with Camille to do whatever it is you want." So they do get their Pia basket. We get that scene up next. There are a bunch of ropes, there are a bunch of blindfolds. Camille is tying him up, blindfolding him. She blindfolds him. She sticks an avocado in his mouth. He's like what
I
is
said,
that?
was there no smaller fruit available?
That was big. Like he's like what
and I
is
can't
this?
imagine an avocado skin tasting pleasant.
No, yeah,
No apples, no
this is pretty
cuties.
torturous. She's like hitting with the other end of the rope. He's just like, why? Why? He's like, I'm so nice to you. It's like he's like, what's our safe word? He was hilarious during this. He's like, I don't know if he was trying to be funny or if his misery was just funny.
Yeah.
She surprised him by like using the massager on him again and messing with him that way. In confessional, Camille says she is really loving this. She's like, Tom is a great sport. She says she can do things like this to have fun with him. It's good to see that some of the things that she's into and has fun with is in line with what he likes and what she is capable of. Thomas gets a turn. He ties her up, kisses her, pours some like I guess it's edible candle wax on her, licks it up on her back of her leg. I'm like, come on, guys! Like, do we need to see this?
They said they have to make up for
Yeah,
all of the other couples who aren't even in this arena.
yeah. He ties her up some more, kisses her, and it's like, hey, this is just a preview. It is kind of weird to be seeing this like fully clothed people. It's like this is a weird juxtaposition.
It's Lifetime.
Yeah, I know.
Like Love is Blind. Like they went there with a few couples, and it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was I can only listen. I can only imagine what the real was when those cameras and microphones got out of the house. This is the clothed version.
Right.
Ooh.
Especially now that she's given him the green light for all the stuff that she wants to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the preview, they're trying to psych us out. It's like, what if I say no on decision day? Get out of here.
What if I can't see myself with you?
Get the heck out of here. We've seen enough to know that that's nonsense. Get on my face with that.
Right. They're in such a good place. Like, I feel like they're in such a healthy place right now. Like, they're still learning about each other. They're still finding things that they want to improve. But it's like, I want to do that together. I would like to see us do that together. I would like to see how we can grow from here and continue to just be present in this relationship.
Yeah, listen, I'm on the lookout for the L word. Like that's what I'm waiting for next. I feel like that's our next step. Do you think we're gonna get that
True.
before decision day? Do you think we're gonna get that at decision day, like some of our successful couples
Oh,
do?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was at decision day because I could see him being I could see him being in love before she is,
Mhm.
but being cautious about saying anything until
Yeah.
he feels like she's ready to say it. Um, because I don't see them being one of those couples that are like, aren't you feeling it yet?
Yeah,
Like,
Camille's definitely not that type.
yeah.
And we've heard Thomas's like hesitation with the L word like on a previous episode. So I think I if I was to put my money on it, I would say we're gonna get it at decision day.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like, and I just want to let you know that I really do love you. She's like, oh, I love you
She's
too.
gonna be like, Thomas is so sweet.
with that shark smile she's got, like showing all her teeth, like this is really what I've been looking for. But they have so much fun together, and it's so interesting because she seems like the chemistry between them is like she seems so outgoing and he seems so introverted,
Yeah.
but it just works.
It
Like
worked. It really does.
yeah, like the way she's messing with him on the bed in the beginning of the episode where she's like torturing him with the massager, like she's like dancing, she's like it's about to go down now. It's like she is so cool. Like she is such a cool person. Tom is Tom.
I truly do like them together,
Yeah.
and I will personally be heartbroken if they do not work out.
Y'all better not mess this up. Y'all better not
No.
do it. You better not. I better not see like on a preview for because I mean I remember when uh the Gil and Mirla season where that
Oof.
season we ended on such a high note for them. It was like, yes,
Mhm.
Gil and Mirla together, boom, boom, boom. And then there was a preview for the reunion where they were sitting apart. And I was like, wait, what happened?
You're right.
What happened? I better not see Camille Thomas apart on the reunion stage.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like them. No, I love them actually. I'm not gonna wait
Oh,
till
you're
decision
dropping the
day to
L
say
word.
it. I'm saying it now. Episode 13.
Yeah, they are a really really great couple and saving this season for those that love.
I know. So easily we're both fives.
Yeah, easy, easy, easy.
Okay. Um On to a couple that I don't feel the same way about.
Listen, I feel like Juan and Carla are gonna come out of this season and just be bestest of friends.
Besties for the resties
Yeah,
is
totally.
their fate. So Carla and Juan, they're at their apartment. He gives which this is after the group hangout. So the group for the ladies, um, Carla led like a yoga session with them, and then the guys went boxing.
It felt like none of the ladies were dressed for this. None of the ladies got the memo. We were doing a sound bath. Everybody came in they're nice,
Like,
they're
I
nice
thought we were going to
dresses.
happy hour.
Yeah, nice nice pantsuit sets. Like, oh, I didn't know we were going to be getting down on the floor. Like, I didn't know that's what was going to be happening here.
And Carla's like,
Yeah,
surprise.
didn't go dressed for this. Carl was the only one that came dressed for a sound bath.
Right. But I'm just so tired of Carla and Juan getting out Scott, what is it, scot free?
Uh-huh.
Of not talking about their relationship. I know there is not one, but I need who's gonna hold them to the fire if it's not the experts and if it's not the other couples about like what are y'all doing?
I
Like
mean,
there's no relationship here.
I feel like they were trying. They were talked about their intimacy. So I mean, I think that's something. At least we didn't get a whole episode about her business again, which I'm thankful for. But listen, they're trying in the way that they can try. I think Juan is the one that's really just slowing this whole thing down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they're trying in a way that they're still doing this. They're still involved. They're still going with it through with the experiment, but they both know
Yeah,
that's the period on their relationship.
definitely.
So, they are awaiting Dr. Pia's arrival, and they're like, "Ooh, Juan's like, let's put some cantaloupe on a plate for Dr. Pia." She's gonna be like, "Ooh, they're so nice. They have fruit for me on a plate." And he was like, "Oh, he's like, oh, these always make me so nervous because he's like, the last meeting was so intimidating, and I just hate hard questions. And
I
then
hate being asked how I can be a husband to my wife that I married. I hate that.
I hate being held accountable for this marriage that I'm in.
I hate remembering we got married.
Right. Why do they keep talking about that? Stop bringing it up.
I mean, isn't this roommates at first sight? Like, what are they talking about weddings for? And husbands and wives.
Right. So he looks through the peephole as Dr. Pia, and he's like, "Oh shoot, it's her." And then he opens the door. She's like, "Yeah, it's me."
Jerk.
I thought that was so funny. My favorite expert. I do love Pastor Cal. He came onto the podcast. If you haven't gone and listened to our interview with him, go check it out. But
yeah, Dr. Pepper's whatever. Dr. Pepper's there too.
Shout out to Dr. Pepper, who comes at the beginning and the end of the season.
Yeah. Shout out to Dr. Pepper. We'd have you on the podcast too if you want to come on. Like, we'll have you on.
Yes.
Don't disparage any of the experts.
Right. But Dr. Pia is my fave. So I'm glad that she gets put to work by having to keep making these expert visits. Like last season was like, oh, okay, we're seeing her a lot because it's her first season or whatever. But
girl, like, she is the intimacy expert. There ain't nobody getting intimate but Camila Thomas. Like, he's probably going into this like, what am I supposed to talk to these people about? I don't understand.
Exactly.
Like, why y'all keep bringing me into this? Like,
Right.
and I'm also like, why are you calling me? This is not my area of expertise.
So they both compliment how good Dr. Pia looks. And so Dr. Pia is like, okay, catch me up. Carla's like, oh, I called my father and we had lunch. And Dr. Pia goes, Juan, how was it meeting her parents? Kid you not, Juan's like, man, her mom cooked so much food. She had this, she had that, she had this whole spread. We ate this, we brought food home, and it was like a pound of food that we had. It was
like,
just so
Dr. Pia, yo, she put her foot in that food, girl. Like, she tore it up. You don't even understand. You want some? I can heat you up some right now.
It's actually, I just finished one serving. Dr. P's like, hey, can we rewind to how it was meeting her parents?
He's like, oh, you want to talk about real stuff? Okay, fine.
Right.
He's just trying to fill time. He's like, what can I say to not
He's
get
like,
to any
I
real
will
stuff?
drag this out the entire 30 minutes we're with her if I can.
Man.
So he said, oh, well, it went well. And Dr. P's like, yeah. Oh, that? No.
Let me tell you about this food, though.
Dr. P is like, okay, did it help y'all feel more like a married couple? And he's like, yeah, well, we're working towards that, which is their textbook answer. Anytime anyone asks them about this marriage is, we're working towards that.
His favorite phrase.
And so Dr. P was like, okay, Carla, I was looking at your social media, and who are these guys that like you're on? And so it shows like Carla like on like this guy holding her on her like Instagram, I guess.
I said, damn, Dr. P, you doing extra credit? Like, you looking at social media? I was like, damn, I didn't even know y'all did that. Like,
right.
That's something different.
She was like, and Carla's like, oh yeah. And so Carla starts like I don't know what you want to call it, just like grinding on the couch to show Dr. Pia what she was doing with this guy. And Dr. Pia is like, well, Juan, are you okay with that? And Juan was like, oh yeah. Knowing them, I'm more than okay with it.
AKA, they are gay. So it doesn't matter.
That's what he's trying to say.
It's fine.
Yeah. And so then Juan was like, look, if I was good friends with Philip, I would hump him too. And so Dr. Pia said,
also Juan's like, I don't care. Like,
he's like, oh, me?
It's like, why do I care if my friends ride up on somebody else? I don't that's her business, not mine.
My friend.
Yeah. My buddy wants to know some guy. I'm not gonna stop her. Hell, I'll be her wingman.
And so Dr. P is like, what's it gonna take for y'all to hump up on each other?
Bruh, like, that's a good point. Like, it's like,
very good point.
Carla, like, obviously you don't have a problem like being
Yeah, they're
you
not
know, touchy
modest.
touchy feely, you're not this like school mom is not afraid to touch anybody. Like you obviously have no problem. Like so yes, Dr. Pia, the problem is Juan. Like
Yeah.
why do I have to spell this out for you, Pia? Juan is the problem, not Carla.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, like why are you saying Juan and Carla? It's Juan.
Yes,
Juan is what we need to talk to, Dr. Pia.
solely. So
Yeah.
Dr. P, they need to talk to him alone or something. I don't know what it is. So Dr. P is like, y'all both have this very carefree sexual spirit. And Carla's like, I'm flirty with him. I touch him. But she said, maybe he's not there yet.
That's right, Carla. Tell her. Tell her.
Yeah. And so Carla was like, do you have any exercises for us? But Dr. P was like, actually, I do. I'm going to set y'all up with tantric yoga.
Juan's like, what does that mean? Am I going to touch her? Am I have to lay hands on her? He's so hesitant. He's like, oh, I don't know, Dr. Pia.
Yeah. And so then the next scene we got, she's like burning some like, it's kind of similar to like sage, right? He's making her coffee, and she's talking about how she's gonna have to go sit on her throne later, but somewhere else. She's not gonna do it at the apartment while he's there.
That's how little content they have.
Yeah.
Like they got to put in these like little non sequiturs.
Right. And so then he's like, oh, we gotta have to do that tantric yoga thing. Google tantric yoga. You got your phone? Google it. And so then she Googles it. And so then they start doing these poses. They're practicing all the different poses. The most pointless scene.
But I actually thought that their chemistry while they were doing this was good. I was like, there's something that could be here if they chose to make it there. And I mean, in the conversation they had before, where he's like, I'm not going to the gym just to poop. He's like, what are you going to tell your kids when they're older? I was like, your kids, not our kids, your kids.
What are you going to tell your kids?
I see where your mindset is. But I thought just like how playful they were with each other, and like I thought that like there could be something there if they chose to. I think we've had this talk about we've talked so much about David and his relationships. I'm just wondering if like Juan has something going on. Like if Juan has some relationship outside of the show that he may have started before the show, and he's like, oh crap, I'm seeing this woman, but I signed up for Married at First Sight. What am I going to do? Because that's what it feels like. It just feels like he is just unwilling to touch Carla because he's gonna like get in trouble with somebody. He's like, I am not gonna be seen being romantic with her, touching her. That's just what it feels like to me.
It's so odd because it's not like I'm thinking of like Brennan. It's also not even like Ikechi. Like he doesn't have any ill feelings towards Carla unless she's talking about her business and she's not being responsible there. But her as a person, he is as cool with her as someone would be with a friend. There's no pressure there. The walls are down. Like it's just carefree. Like we're having a good time. It's just a constant like hangout.
And no one's really, and again, like there's a theme this season. No one is holding him accountable. Where it's like, all right, distill for me down what is the problem?
Yeah.
Why can't you get romantic or touchy or feely? Like, why aren't you there? What about her is making you not there?
The one time we were inching there was what he said. He didn't have those romantic feelings for her. But they didn't like that was that one meeting with Dr. Pia in that public place.
Yeah.
They needed to be like, okay, that's it. Let's hold on to that and let's go even further every time we meet. But that has not been happening. Like, and I bet he's probably like, Married at First Sight is so easy.
You just have to avoid the questions. That's all you got to do. Just keep saying we're working on it, and they'll just let you fly by.
Working on it.
We're working
on it. And then you get to just hang out with your Rose.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with David.
Get to promote your business. Like,
right.
They will show up to your
people are going to download my app?
Yeah. He probably thinks that app has been like in every episode, but the editor's like, nope, not gonna put it in, not gonna give you that free promotion, not gonna do it. I don't even know what the thing's called. I don't even know what the name of the app is.
No clue. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it.
Nope, not gonna get that free promo.
Yeah, so right. So it's finally time for the tantric yoga. They have the space set up in their apartment. She has the little thing she was burning. She just like she's waving it and then she sets it on top of a candle. And Juan's like sitting on the floor and he's like, "Whoa, bro!" And he grabs it and it's on because it's on fire. And so he's like, "Oh my gosh, don't put that there, bro."
She is a bro. She is his
Yeah.
bro. Like, that's so funny though, because like you just know that that's probably happened more than once.
She's like, "Oops, I didn't know what I was
I didn't
doing."
realize what I was doing. So sorry. Oh my
Right.
gosh.
Oopsies.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Somebody needs to
Why?
get Carla off the Kardashians television show. That's like it's been something in her accent. Oh my gosh. Oh,
Oh, oops.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was a funny moment, at least. So we get the tantric yoga instructor in. They tell
Whoa, 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 no. You can't
you
gloss
have
over,
to say?
you can't gloss over Diana, okay? Diana, we open the door and Diana is standing there in her 90. I'm like, what? You just walking around like this? Like, you could warm us up a little bit. You came in with the 90. I'm like, oh my god. And then when Carla opens the door, she comes in and Juan meets her. Juan's like, what the hell is this? He literally looks her up and down. He's like, hi, I'm Juan. Like,
She
I don't
went
know.
straight from this session into her bed. Why? Because she was dressed for it.
Like, you on the street walking around in this? Like,
Right?
in your
Like,
car
I'm
in the
like,
90 driving to this place?
even if she had put on a robe on top of it, that would have been more appropriate.
Yeah, like you just show up at the door with the 90 on. I'm like, oh, this is where we're at.
Not
This is
a
what we're doing.
90.
And I'm just like, she's sitting down with him. I'm just like, this is so fascinating. She's just got it. She's got it all out there. I'm like, wow. Like, she had to blur her behind when she got up one time. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, this lady is something else. Diana. Hello.
No. I I couldn't believe it either.
I just love how freaked out Juan was. He was like, what? This is not a good start for Juan. Juan was already not into this. And now here comes Diana. He's like, oh God, this is starting off terribly.
They're like, should we go get in our 90s? Like, I don't, are we overdressed?
Yeah. I mean, she may have taken her shirt off, so I guess so.
Yes.
And Carla already usually has almost nothing on.
So, they tell her name is Diana.
Yes, Diana.
Okay, so Diana,
her name will be etched in my memory forever. It's Diana.
They tell Diana that they have not explored any kind of intimacy yet, so she's teaching them how to breathe, and she said she's going to teach them how to breathe and how to have intimacy through their eyes. She has them hold each other's hearts so they can feel each other's heart chakras, and then like kind of push on each other. And Carla's like, "Dang, Juan, how much harder are you gonna push me?" He's like, "Oh wait, am I pushing too hard?" And so then Juan is told to take his shirt off. He has his shirt off. He's laying down. Carla and Diana are rubbing roses up and down Juan's chest. And so I was like, wait a second. Why is Diana also
like
rubbing a rose on Juan's chest?
Was this the plan, or was Diana like, I'm gonna get on this too? Like Juan looks pretty. Like I'm gonna come alongside. I'm gonna also do some rose action too. Yeah.
She said, actually, like, might as well.
Cut. Pastor Kyle's like, listen, we can make this sexier, right? Like, Juan, lose the pants too, Juan. Like we can do so much with this. We can do so much with this. You know, Pascal's behind the camera. Diana is like a close personal friend of Cal's.
I was like, I was like, okay, maybe Diana's gonna bow out in a second. Like,
No,
she's
Diana
just
was
giving the intro. Now they're gonna have their moment because they are the married couple. No, the
Diana
whole
was so
time
into it. She was so
she
into it. She's
was
like, you're just gonna put your
up
you're
and
gonna put the
down Juan's
rose.
body.
You're gonna put the rose wherever you want. Wherever you want to put it. And I mean wherever you want to put it.
I couldn't. And so anyway, they say he Juan ends up saying like he feels like this is a good start for them, and we get a confessional from her saying she feels like he's warming up.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say at the group hangout, Juan's business partner was also there.
Was
I don't
it?
know if it said Tyler, Juan's business partner.
Oh, I did not even clock that. Was
Yeah,
that the
he was the one like sparring with Juan before the other guys got there.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, is he good at boxing? Is he showing them something?
Was this at their warehouse / fantasy factory, whatever they're
Right.
doing? Is that where the boxing ring was? I don't know. But I mean, yeah, but then and Juan also had his turn with the rose, and of course he's just like making a joke out of it. Like it
Oh
was
yeah,
so
that
like,
was mm-hmm.
well, I'm just not taking this serious. Like it's like my girlfriend's watching. I cannot do this sensually.
Right.
Like, yeah, this is funny, right? Like tell you something's up.
Yeah,
Something
something is fishy. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what about Carla has just completely made him friend zone her, but I think that's just the case. Like,
yeah,
he is a friend in her eyes, a dear friend, a homie,
dear friend,
as some may say.
Yeah.
The
What
homie.
do we get for next time?
Next time Juan does like the handlebar mustache.
Oh yeah.
But that's it.
That's it. That's all the content, all the juicy content Juan and Carla get.
Right.
Oh,
And what's wild is we do see that they are starting the couples retreat next week, which is exciting.
Does that feel early? It's like already the couples retreat? Like
I don't know. Some might say late. I feel like episode 10 has been the couples retreat before.
has it? Huh. No,
For the Houston season.
I feel like episode 10 is always the 1 month though.
Always?
I feel like typically. I feel like this is early for the retreat. I feel like the retreat is usually like a week before decision day. Or am I crazy?
A week?
Yeah, that's what I always felt like.
Oh yeah. Episode 10 was the 1 month anniversary for season 15. I was trying to find season 14.
Yeah, but I guess this is 2 weeks before decision day. So I mean, do we think we're getting a less episode count this year?
I don't know.
It feels like we're getting pretty close to the end here.
I'm literally on episode 10 of season 14, and I said, and all I see is they go to do tantric yoga. They just won't
they
stop
love tantric yoga. That
Which
is just
couple
like
was this? This was Jasmina and Mike.
that is just like a fixture of Married at First Sight. Tantric yoga, sound baths. They had their own live-in sound bath person this season. Like we got sound baths covered with Carla this season. Perfect. Yeah. So listen, ones for Juan and Carla.
Ones across the board because they are just playing house. They're not even playing house. Playing house would be trying, at least faking it as if they are trying this marriage. They are just friends. I don't even
roommates.
No other way to say it.
They're roommates.
Yeah. Roomies.
Yeah. Let's move on to Madison and Alan. This is an interesting week for them. I just thought it was interesting on the boys sparring that David and Alan were sparring against each other. I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So they're at home. Madison talked about it's like Luffy is just obviously just a demon presence. It's like whenever you're gone, Luffy just is the worst.
He is, at this point, they always give Luffy a lower third. Like they're like, Luffy is in the room. You're going to hear him. So we need to introduce him to this
You're
scene.
going to notice Luffy is there. Luffy makes his presence known at all times. Pia shows up for a visit. Luffy is just all over her. He's like new person, new person, new person. Who's this? Who's this? Who's this?
She's like, it's okay. I'm good with dogs. And then she had to get to a point where like, okay, like I'm good with well-behaved dogs because what is this?
It's like, all right, Alan, you can hold Luffy because he's going to be like all over the place.
Right.
He tries to sit in her chair before she get in the chair. Like, okay, that's my chair. Can I sit there, Luffy? Thank you.
And like, not to brag,
oh boy,
but when I turn on Bluey on YouTube, Cinnamon goes to her crate. I'm just saying.
That's the thing to get her to go to her crate. Like that's the
trigger. Well, that's the thing to let her know I'm about to leave the house.
Oh, because you leave Bluey on for them while you're gone.
So they have something to watch.
Of course. They need something to watch. I mean, who doesn't leave the TV on for the dog? I don't need to hear about everybody leaving the TV on for the dog. I know it's a thing. Before we get the Facebook group started, I know it's a thing. Don't come at me.
Because there's also dog TV, but usually that's just like music and then pictures. There's also active dog walks where it's like someone has a camera and is like walking a dog and the dogs are on like a virtual journey through like.
Oh my God. But I started watching these videos, not on TikTok, of like there's this thing where you put a camera on a cat and you see what the cat does throughout his day. Like he fights other cats. He like is roaming the streets. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Oh my God. But he like goes back home?
He's not really at a home. He's always out in the street.
Oh,
always in the street. I think he's in Asia somewhere. I don't know. Like I don't know where this is. But I see like Chinese or Korean writing. I was like, where is this taking place? But this cat basically walks around and fights other cats, and they make the weirdest sounds. Like, oh my God, this is crazy. I don't know how I got down that lane, but it pushes it to me now. It's like, okay.
You're like, we know what Jason likes.
Yeah, cat fights. Like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Mass and Alan. So Pia shows up. She sits down with them. She's like, so how's it going? They update her about the Twister game that she sent them last time. But they still haven't really talked about sex a whole lot. But the Twister game helped them broach the topic, but they haven't really gotten down and dirty with it. Pia says, well, let's talk a little bit about trust and intimacy before we get down to the sex lane. She says, where are you guys at with trust? Alan says she has his full trust. Alan,
okay, Alan's acting like MM. How she got your full trust?
I mean, she hasn't really done anything yet to betray his trust.
She also hasn't done anything to gain that trust.
I mean, I guess Alan's the type of guy that will give you his trust, and then you got to prove that you shouldn't have it, which makes sense.
Fair. I'm the exact same way. I don't even know why I'm being hard on you. Come on, Alan.
Come on. Don't do what I do. Madison, for her part, says she trusts him with her vulnerability and not to judge her when things come up. Just wait, Madison. Just wait. It's crazy she said that, and then he's going to just totally judge her in a little bit. She does say, well, we do have an issue when it comes to alcohol. She says when alcohol has been involved, she sees parts of Alan that she doesn't like, and that is part of what is stopping her from getting to the next level. But otherwise, she trusts him with her feelings. Pia says, oh, that's an easy fix. She says, there's, you guys can have good emotional intimacy. Sounds like you're already on your way there. So she has another game to give them to kind of help them open up more. It's called Just the Tip. Get it? It's going to help them create some foreplay by answering sexual questions. Madison says, yeah, this will help us get to know what each other likes sexually and to kind of test out our compatibility. Madison is on full like try mode right now. She's on full like, I want to tell you, I'm going to try. She's like, yeah, this might actually work. This will be good. Pia says, you never know, Madison. Alan might rock your world. Alan says, there's a reason people put up with my behavior.
I was like, not Alan gassing himself up.
For real. I was like, you just have no idea what I got back and what I got going on. I'm a giver, Madison. I'm a giver.
Did you notice what he said to Thomas at the
Oh
boxing.
yeah, he said like everybody's not getting released like you, Thomas. It's like, oh, okay,
Good lord!
too
I
much,
was like,
too much.
what we're getting on the episodes is the PG version of
Totally,
what he said. Like
yeah, and oh, go
like
ahead.
I'm sure he says much worse
Yes.
around the clock.
And something that Madison said here in this Pia talk was like, yeah, when alcohol gets involved, she sees a different Alan. So I was like, maybe that's also part of what we don't see that is really kind of turning Madison off.
Mm-hmm.
Which I could definitely, I could definitely see where that would be an issue. Where if he gets just like drunk and acts dumb, we've seen him be dumb when he was drunk with the whole
Mm-hmm.
driving thing. So I'm like, I'm just wondering, like, because we haven't really dove too deep on why Madison is not into Alan. We get she doesn't like his style, she doesn't like his jokes, but like I feel like there's got to be something more to it. It was like, and this alcohol thing might be part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like, I mean, because she said that as much as like there, she keeps finding little things that she's not attracted to. I think she's searching so hard for something to be attracted to, and then little things keep getting in the way. Where it's just like, okay, I can't even get there because there's just one thing after another that I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes about.
Yeah. The next scene we get with them is them breaking out the card deck that Pia gave them. We get some questions. It's kind of your boilerplate stuff. How do you feel about talking dirty? Alan, shockingly, says he's not into talking dirty. Like, you kind of talk dirty all the time. So it's just like maybe he talks dirty. He talks weirdly, sexually so much with his
Yeah,
jokes
he's
in
like,
the
I do
window.
enough of that outside of the bedroom.
Yeah, that it feels weird for him to do it in a serious manner when when there actually might be some sex going on. So I'm like, I wonder if that's what it is. Because he's like, no way, I hate talking dirty. I'm like, you make a sex joke every other sentence you talk. So I don't know what you're talking about. We talk about foreplay. Madison is not into pain, but otherwise, foreplay works for her. What do you prefer to do after sex? Alan says shower. Madison says eat. It's like, okay, like Alan, like I, I don't know. I'm not gonna get on that. Let's just skip that part.
Moving on.
Moving on. When you are stressed, does sex serve as a release? She says yes. Alan's like, oh, I gotta make you stressed then, I guess. So how can I know you're in the mood? Alan says, just tap me on the shoulder. Um, what is your favorite way to reach an orgasm? Like, do we need this? Do we need to
Not
know?
no. I was gonna
Do
say
we need
not for
to know?
this couple, but not for any, because
Not for
even
anybody.
if we got this for Camilla Thomas, it still would be too much.
That's none of my business. It's none of my business.
I shouldn't
Okay,
know this.
none of my business. Pastor Cal's in the editing bay again, apparently. Like, keep that part in. I like that part. Keep the part in where she says on top. Yeah. Madison says, the sexual compatibility could be there with us. He says the more he's learning, the more he's digging her. But when he says, the more I learn, I'm really digging you. But when I met you, had some other assumptions. He says, and she says, like what? He says, there are people that enjoy passionate, emotional sex. And I think that's you now. But before, I thought maybe you were like into like superficial sex. He's like, don't take offense to this, but it felt like you were more like transactional in your in your sex life. Bruh.
What
What?
of all? Just first of all, I was gonna okay. First you think of all the words to say.
Yeah.
But then you're like, well, let's take a step back. Why did he say this at all?
Like,
Why
why
did
was this
this need to
necessary?
be? Yeah, why did this? She didn't say, hey, Alan, what were your first thoughts of me at the wedding?
No, he totally volunteered this information.
Unprompted.
This he volunteered the fact that he had a bad opinion of you when he first saw you. Why would you ever say something like that? Keep that to yourself, my guy. Like, no one needs to know that how you felt about them when you first saw them before you got to know them. Why? Like, he put his foot so deep in his mouth and just kept putting it deeper in there as we go along. Like, it's nuts to me because it's like, when I first saw you, I thought you were transactional. You're like, what? Why would you ever say this to anyone? Um,
For
she's
me, why even think that? Like,
right.
like there's so many steps before getting to where we are now. Like, why did you look at your new wife and think that that's what you're thinking about when you met her, is how she is with sex? Like,
Yeah. And then for him to go, okay, I don't know what word to say. He says, I don't think this, but the word I'm thinking is transactional. Like, no, so you were thinking that. Like,
right.
why would you like
That came out of your brain.
you're right. So why would you say you weren't thinking that and then say that word? It made no sense. She
You didn't
says,
say, "Hey, chat GPT, come up with a word for me." No, you brought that
no,
word out of your brain, out of your mouth, and said, "Oh, yeah." And then doubled down by saying,
double
"Well, maybe
down.
I did, maybe it wasn't like me, but maybe I could see how other people could think that about you."
Oh, I can see how people look at you and think that. What? What?
So you think it.
She says, so okay, we're too ahead of ourselves here. She says, so why would you think that? She says, because of how I look? He's like, no, 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 no. It was about how you were dancing. He says it felt like you were just a young party club girl. This is like I was dancing at my wedding. It's not like I was on a pole or anything. Like, what are you talking about? She says, yes, I do like to dance. I do like to go out to clubs, but I'm not just some party girl. I'm a woman that has my stuff together. He says he knows. He's like, I know. It's not like I'm saying you're going out and just sleeping with people. I mean, you kind of are. Like,
Right.
uh, Madison is obviously taken aback. She's trying so hard to like keep it in. She's just like, you're on camera. Remember, you're on camera. Keep it cute. Keep it
Oh.
together. But she's obviously upset. He apologizes to her. She says, it's okay. It's okay. He says, I don't think that of you, but I could see how someone would think that of you when they met you, but when they get to know you, then they don't. Like, that's not better. That is not
He's like,
that
so actually, everyone's first impression of you probably is that. Like, I
like,
could see them thinking that, but then they have to
bro.
get to know you to know that you don't see things, you wouldn't be just transactional.
Ugh. He's like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go take Luffy on a walk. It's very tense and awkward, like
As it should be. You
as it
did,
should be.
Alan.
Yeah. Ugh. He leaves. When he leaves, take Luffy for a walk. They at one of the producers. It's bad when you hear a producer ask a question like out loud.
Yes.
Like, so Madison, what are you thinking right now? She's emotional. She's crying a little bit. She says, I'm just so frustrated. She says, it's the way people have perceived me before, and I've really had to fight to be taken seriously, in my work life and just in life in general. She says, people don't think I work as hard as I have or deserve what I have, but Alan of all people should be someone as my husband that defies that, not validated. This is not what she wants. He just does not have her back in this moment. So later, when the cameras have gone, we see the surveillance cam. They're in the living room. He apologizes again. She says, I'm not mad at you. I just need time to get over it. We see her tell him that she's going to go make a call. She's going to go call Amanda, whoever that is. But she'll be back. She's just going to go make a call. She leaves the apartment.
Just real quick. Real
Just real
quick
quick.
call she has to make. Yeah.
Quick call. So she leaves. We get the timestamp of 12:48. Alan's doing a diary cam. She says she's not back yet. It's been a couple hours. It's like I haven't heard from her. He says he's pretty worried. He says she said she had to make a call. Seems like it's a long call. He hates that he put her in that place, but he hopes that everything's okay. He says maybe she went out to have a drink. He doesn't know. The next time we see them, we see that it's the next day. Madison is updating us. She says basically he called her a hooker. She says she's not mad, but she is hurt and disappointed. But she just needs a minute to be able to feel that way. She just needs some time to feel her feelings. She says that could have been a great moment for us, but it really took a turn. We don't have a lot of time till decision day. It's such an important decision. and these moments are not helping to reach a positive decision. He meets her at the gym. She's at the gym working out. He comes. This is obviously the apartment complex gym.
Yeah.
I call it didn't clear the gym out. You just see it random people working out
Yeah.
as well in the gym.
Right.
Like this is not a setup thing where they like rent the gym out. They're like, all right, no one else is in the gym. There are other people working out around there when the scene is happening. He comes and meets her. He says, "Listen, I want to check on you, see how you're feeling about where we're at." Madison says she had time to think, collect her thoughts, and she just wants to talk to him about where that was coming from. She tells him she's had a hard time proving herself, so when people say things like he said, it's a big trigger for her, and it really affected her. She knows he wasn't trying to be hurtful, but his word choice was not okay. He tells her, "Yes, I did make a poor choice of words, but we talk about stereotypes and not prejudging people. You prejudged me by saying I was a pushover." Alan,
You said something about me.
this is not the time for this. This is not the time for pointing fingers. You have plenty of time to point fingers in another conversation. He has the worst judgment of when to bring things up and when to not. Like, this is not the time, my man. This is the time to say sorry. This is the time to grovel. This is the time to really talk about your issue or her issue with you, not the time for you to point fingers back at her.
He's like, we all have stereotypes. That was your stereotype of me. I'm sorry. In what?
I'm not sure how that was a stereotype. She was taking things and facts you said and making that assumption. That was not a prejudgment.
Yeah,
She did not look at you and say that looks like a pushover.
He looks like a pushover.
Yeah, that is
He's
not
acting
a
like
presumption.
But in his mind, it's like, oh, his actions made her say he's a pushover. Her actions on the dance floor is what made him say that about her.
Yeah.
It was the absolute worst time to try to be like, oh, tit for tat. Oh, like what was your goal, Alan? Like, you're thinking, oh, now I need to defend myself, or now I need to kind of get her back. Like, it was just the thing about Alan that's kind of just like has me in a blender is he wants this to work. He's trying, right? But I think he's trying to present himself like he is this like he's ready. And I think there times like this shows his like immaturity in relationships, because it's like you're not you're saying you hear her, but you're not acting like you're hearing. You're taking what she's saying and you're ready. You're having your responses ready to go. You're in no way acknowledging that, okay, I have offended you. You feel this way because of something I said. So let me show remorse, or let me try to, ease things over by showing that I do hear you, and I don't want you to feel this way. But instead, I want you to know you made me feel that way. So I'm going to bring that up now.
It's
so that's
okay.
We're
you did the
even.
You did the same thing to me, so it's okay I did that to you. So no, this is not the time for that. Alan is hearing but not listening. Like, he heard what she said but not listening. And this isn't the first time that Alan's done something like this, where it's like he doesn't know how to navigate an actual relationship. There's a lot of talk last episode about how he only was in toxic relationships. I can see how that has like stayed with him, because it's like, this is what toxic people do. And so, Madison's like, you know what? Like, I am trying to explain things to you and you're trying to flip it on me. You're trying to point the finger at me. He says, no, I'm just saying, why is it okay for you to do to me, but not okay for me to do to you?
Yeah. He's like, oh, when it happens to me, I feel like we get through it. So now I feel like the same isn't happening back. Because didn't she say at the beginning that she thought you were a pushover? So like when she says things that you don't like, you just brush it to the side. But now because she's defending herself and not being a pushover, you think that's a problem?
It's like, I've had this one in the chamber for a while. Ready to bring it out. Remember that pushover thing you said a month ago? What about that? He tells her, listen, you are very sensitive. Like, you're more sensitive than anyone I know. I'm like, what?
He does. He clearly doesn't know many people.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just trying to adjust to your sensitivity.
He's like, "You're way more sensitive than me." She's like, "I know, I am." Okay.
She says, listen, you're pointing fingers at me and not listening to where I'm coming from. He tells her, listen, I get worked up because you said you were going to go make a call and then you disappeared. I was worried. She's like, well, what's the big deal? I came home.
Like, I came
oh
home. Maybe it was 5 a.m. after. Like, I didn't expect to hang out with David that long. Okay.
Listen, Dave was consoling me. I mean, my girlfriends were consoling me.
Yeah.
Like, girl.
She's like, I was talking to Amanda, but David was there.
Everybody's just hurling just the wrong things to everybody. Like, what's the big deal? I came home 6 hours later. Like, girl, come on.
We can't even be focused on the issue at hand because, like, we can't even be focused on the fact that this is potentially happening, right? Like, Madison and David are potentially having an affair, but we can't even focus on that because Alan over here doing whatever. Like,
Alan tells her, listen, I had a dream that they stopped the show and made you marry someone else, and they made me watch. And it crushed me. I was like, so what is that set up? Are they putting you in a Clockwork Orange type situation where they got your eyelids taped up and they're just making you watch Madison marry David?
Don't go anywhere.
He said someone else. He meant to say David.
Yes.
They made me watch you marry David.
And Madison practically said, okay.
Right.
And she did not respond about this dream.
I wish your dream was a reality.
Right. She's like, tell me more about the dream.
Is David had his man bun in the dream?
Right.
Was it up or was it down? I like it up.
What color was his suit?
Was Michelle there crying?
Yeah, was she watching next to you or did she not come? I'm okay if she didn't come.
More than okay. He tells her again that she's sensitive. She says, yeah, well, why do you think I'm sensitive? Because what you say matters. If I didn't care about you, then what you say wouldn't matter to me. So obviously I care about you. So that's why I'm so quote unquote sensitive about what you're saying.
Which I don't know about that.
I feel like you're reaching. I feel like this is a reach, Madison.
Because I care about you.
Really
it's not that I care about my image on this show.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah, she says, just show some empathy for me. He's like, how do I not? How do I not? That's all she needed to hear. She takes off. She has a moment by herself in the gym. She says she is frustrated, annoyed, and hurt that he is turning this on her and calling her sensitive. We get another confessional in the gym from Alan. He says, I just can't understand why we can't connect. Gee, Alan. you don't get it?
I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's because you keep saying idiotic stuff.
Yeah. Why can't we?
He says, but they have to get to a resolution so that this can work. He has to put his heart out there and be real. He comes back to the apartment. It's like, listen, we've taken some time. Are you ready to talk? He says, yeah. He says, it's like, do you understand how much I care about you? She says, no.
And he's so nervous in this moment. He moves his water bottle, which doesn't need to be moved. And then he's like shaking his leg. Yep. And they literally have the camera on his leg just shaking.
He says, the reason I was concerned when you left is that you disappearing was an eye-opener for me about how much I care for you. I was worried about you. I was all over the place and I have an immense amount of care for you. He says, not in love yet, but I have love for you. And a lot of our relationship.
Like, you better not be.
Yeah, like, do not say the L word. I don't even care if you're not in love with me. Don't say that word to me.
Right.
He says, a lot of our relationship has been me trying to appease you to get you to care about me. And that's really hurt me. And I have not been vocal about it. And I've been working on how I convey stuff to you. I'm like, okay. Like, I like how just now he's like, all right, like, I feel like she knows that though. I don't feel like this is news to Madison. Like, I feel like she understands the situation here.
Yeah.
Madison says she appreciates his honesty. She says, I'm still not mad at you, but it did hurt my feelings. She says she has been trying to be more honest with him, but maybe sometimes she's been too honest. She's trying to change that, and things haven't. When she's has been honest in the past, things haven't worked. She's trying to be more open here, but then I try and do that, but you're calling me sensitive. Alan says, yes, we do need more open and honest conversations. He says hurt feelings aren't bad. It just shows that we're in this and we really care. Madison says she does care for him, and that's why she's still in this and trying. Alan says that what she said really gives some hope there. He says he wouldn't get this passionate about these arguments and didn't care about each other, and these moments give him more confidence in them. Listen, they do hug it out. They have a real hug. It's nice. It's a nice hug.
They did hug. It was not a half hug. She was like,
Yeah.
okay, yes.
They come out of the hug. I think Alan's looking for like, he stopped for a minute. Like,
he looked at her like,
kiss, maybe? No. She looked at him like, no. He's like, okay, no kiss.
Again,
cool.
we're done.
Yeah, and it's over. Oh, so. Yeah, I was Alan and Madison.
Next time, Alan does do a fashion show.
Yes.
And things get interesting, but we'll talk more about that after we do David and Michelle.
Yeah. I'll save some of my Madison thoughts for David and Michelle. She's not trying as much as she could be trying, but I really don't think that there is a David Madison thing right now. I really don't.
You may be alone in that camp.
I think
there's zero chance that if the David Madison thing is a thing, right? There's zero chance that there was just absolutely nothing until a certain point. They are getting to it's building. They may not be like full on doing anything that's like cheating, but they are building. Like there is mutual interest. David sent her that text. Let's talk about that. The text was clearly, I don't even know how we didn't get into this on the pod specifically. I think Mari did, where the text is a situation where he is with Alan and Madison, and text her, "You look so dang fine. I want to eat you up." Shoot, that was Michelle, because I was trying to text Madison right here in front of me next to her husband.
Yeah, I understand that theory, and I think that is definitely a plausible theory. I think that's definitely could be the case. But I just read Madison, I just don't see that her doing that right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm blind. Maybe I'll be totally proven wrong. But I feel like the show is driving us there.
I think she just has a good poker face.
Maybe, I guess.
I don't think there's any part of Madison. Madison is playing the game. She is not giving Alan anything more than she's not giving Alan hope.
Right.
Alan is creating this hope himself. Like, she's being nice to me. So that's hope. No, Madison knows what she's doing in order to keep this going along. Yeah. Like, she knows she's not putting herself in a position, or the experts have to come in and say, Madison, get it together. Like, she's being
cordial too.
Yeah, she's being very cordial. I don't think she is behaving in a way that is like, oh, then it's completely off the table. Like, nothing, there's no interest in David at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get into the whole text of it all as well, but I don't see Madison doing that right now. I just don't. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. I probably am totally.
You mean you usually are?
Wow.
Easily ones, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
That we can agree on.
All right. Last and one of the least.
One of the many least.
One of the least. We have David and Michelle. So last week we definitely had the emergence of the text. Mm-hmm. So this is the aftermath. And I'm gonna tell you, this is I have never seen, we don't know much about Michelle. We know what the show has shown us, but I've never seen Michelle more passionate about anything than figuring out where did this text come from? Who was it for? Why was it sent?
By the end of this, I felt like we were going to get like a spin-off show of like The real truth about the David text message.
Right.
A 2020 special.
Yes. And so we see a little bit of Michelle before the girls all hung out. And she's like, well, obviously me and David got into it about his suspicious text message. So after both sets of people well, actually, let's talk about that. So when the ladies hung out, Michelle was like, y'all are not going to believe this. David sent a text and she tells them all about it. And Madison's like,
oh my gosh. I feel like this is confirmation bias. That's what I feel like this is. Like any reaction she would have, we'd be like, see?
Oh no, I was looking only at her.
Yeah. Like, any reaction she would have had. If she was outraged, she was like, see, it's fake outrage. If she was quiet about it, it's like, see, because she knows who it's for. That's why she's being quiet. Anything she would have done, you'd be like, we need to pick it apart.
She didn't react enough.
Yep, exactly.
So she tells them, like, he said, like, he had texted his cousin about food. MM said that was not for his cousin.
Do you think?
Right. And she's like, the only thing is the night before, he did say he was with Alan and Madison. And Madison's like, yeah, we were there, but then Carla was there.
I was the only woman there. Carla was there too.
Carla showed up too. I was like,
everybody on the bus. Carla was there too. She didn't see anything weird, did you, Carla?
She said, let's put some more girls in the room, okay?
Yeah. But then Carla's like, no, but he was helping you look for your phone. It's like,
no, there was some time that he was helping you look for your phone.
You guys were
because my phone was lost. Yes,
my phone was definitely stolen.
He was looking.
See, I don't have that phone here to show you any text messages I would get from David. So unfortunately, I can't show you our text conversations. It's like, yeah, Mass and you and David were in the bathroom looking for your phone, right? You were locked in there, just tearing the bathroom up looking for your phone. We kept hearing you crashing and stuff. You were just tearing the bathroom up looking for your phone, right, Madison?
Listen, this subplot that her and David separated from Carla and Alan to look for her missing phone.
Listen,
that's
my
all
theory,
the confirmation.
Listen, my theory is just being torn to shreds. Like it's like, and then Madison's Michelle asked for advice. Madison's like, well, listen, maybe come at it softer. Don't accuse them. Like, okay, like, this is not looking
there's
good.
Clearly more to it. Like, if you have a softer approach, like, don't come at him like you're accusing him of stuff.
Because he tells me you keep accusing him.
Like, because usually when I approach David about things,
when we had our pillow talk the other night, he was telling me that you were just coming at him really aggressively, and you just keep accusing him of things.
She's like, no, Michelle, I know what you said.
Word for word, he told me.
No, listen. Because we're sprinkling in so much fiction. The truth is, Carla said, you're not about to, well, she didn't say this, but her providing this evidence that, oh no, because you were with David looking for your phone.
Carla knows something's up. Carla.
She said, And so then Carla goes, I actually barely saw David.
Oh, God.
I was cracking up because just the immediate, like, oh, wait, no, Carla was there. It's like, this is going to look suspicious.
Carla can vouch. Nothing weird happened.
Right. Yeah, because y'all were texting each other.
Actually, weird things did happen.
Right. And then on the boys' side, David goes, yeah, so I texted my cousin, like, oh, yeah.
Bro.
It said like, oh, I want to eat you up, but I meant like eat it up. And they're like, oh yeah, so that probably looked bad, huh?
You could tell everybody was just like, you're totally lying, but like we will back you up as much as we can. Poor sweet innocent Alan. He's just like, it's like, yeah, maybe she just don't understand what you were saying. Like, we know you because you are our friends, so we know you would never do anything like that, right? You would never snake another dude's woman, right? Right? You would never do that, right, David? You'd never take another man's wife, would you?
Because in just even the concept of David going out to hang out with Madison and Alan, why is Michelle not there?
Because Michelle does not want to hang out with David. That's why.
Oh my gosh. I was just that was comedy. That was. So then they go to sit down with Pastor Cal. So first it's just Michelle and Pastor Cal. And Pastor Cal's like, let's dive right in. She explained the whole text thing. He's like, okay, that's not true. She's like, yeah, I think it's a lie. And she's like, and then he told me he's been texting other girls and he met a girl for coffee. And she explains that her parents got divorced because of infidelity. And Pastor Cal's like, does he know that? She's like, no, I don't think he does.
Cal, like, we love you, man. We really do. We're fans of yours. But what does this have to do with anything? Like, this doesn't matter to anything.
He has to be more secretive about if he's going to be unfaithful. Because he needs to be more sensitive to her situation.
I was like, oh, so I shouldn't have cheated on you because your parents divorced because they cheated on each other. Oh, dang. I
shouldn't cheat on you because I shouldn't cheat on you.
I had known that your parents cheated on each other. Otherwise, I wouldn't have cheated on you. If I had known that, oh my gosh.
Simple as that.
Everything's clear. What?
Yeah.
What?
But that changes things. I actually have to go bring things off with Madison.
I didn't think about it that way, Pascal. You got me there. Like, okay.
And so we get a confessional from Michelle saying that she has not heard from David since they talked about it the second time. And so he arrives, he shows up. Pastor Cal's like, all right, David, just tell me your version of events. And David's like, oh, okay, about the text message, about the whole marriage.
Yeah. Are we here to talk about the text message?
What are we talking about?
Is that we're talking about? Why is this such a big deal? I don't understand.
Yeah. He's like, the text was supposed to go to my cousin, but it went to my wife. And Pastor Cal's like, who does that? Like, who?
This makes no sense, right?
Right.
Like,
He's basically saying, he's like, who says that about food? And Dave, I talked to my food.
I don't know about you, Pascal.
Before.
I talked to my food.
I don't know about you, but I've talked to my food before. He said, well, David, can you, do you see her perspective? And she shares that her parents got divorced because of infidelity. He's like, oh, okay, well, I have to be more sensitive. But that's the first time I've heard that. And then Pastor Cal was like, and what else? Basically, go on, Michelle. What else did you tell me? And she was like, yeah, that you've been messaging other women and meeting up with women for coffee. And Dave is like,
Pastor Cal, you stupid idiot.
Right?
You just don't know. I'm about to blow your mind, okay?
Right. Yeah.
That woman I'm talking to, she's dating other people. Boom. Drop the hammer on you.
Pastor Cal, yes. So Pastor Cal, yes, calls him out on this laughing. David uses this excuse that the woman he met with is actually in another relationship with another person. Which was just like, he said, Pastor Cal said, who cares?
Why did you waste my time with that? Why would you tell me that nonsense?
You too are in a relationship with another person.
Oh my God.
So I'm sorry. Relevance.
He was like, Pastor Cal, how I would never do that. I would never go out with a woman that was with someone else. How would you even think of saying that to me? Like,
he's like, look, I'm putting it on the table. I'm showing how honest I am that, yeah, I had the app. So I'm like, wait a second. You weren't speaking past tense that you had met these women previously on Tinder. You were speaking present tense.
Well, I think these are ex Tinder dates before the marriage.
Yes.
I don't think he's actively on Tinder. I think he is throwing this Tinder thing out there to distract from everything.
It's a distraction.
It's like, see, I admitted that I met up with ex Tinder dates, but these were not dates. These are just meetings with ex dates.
And
So
it's
I will admit to a lesser charge to get out of the
because
greater
hear me
charge
out.
of infidelity.
Hear me out. The fact that he said, I met her on Tinder, that is such an irrelevant detail. If it's an ex, that's just someone you know. This is a person, right? That's just a
Yeah.
person. No one, if they say, oh, how did you meet her? Oh, we met on Tinder. You know, like it's not a voluntary piece of information you
Yeah.
throw out when you're talking to people in your vicinity. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I met him at the grocery store. I met him actually in college. She's from Tinder. I actually met her on Hinge. And I think Coffee Meets Bagel? Yeah. Like it doesn't make sense. So you're so right. This is such a distraction. He's like, if I throw out Tinder, then we'll be focused on the dating app and not the fact that I sent this text to Michelle when I meant to send it to Madison.
Yeah. This big flashy Tinder I got is gonna just totally make you forget about the text I sent. Like I'm gonna use the word Tinder to make you like really like upset.
Ooh,
but
Tinder.
I didn't do anything bad with the Tinder. Like just the Tinder's here, but I didn't do anything bad. But you're gonna focus on this, so you're not gonna think about the text.
Exactly.
I'm a genius. Like,
and I can prove that. I can prove that the app's not on my phone anymore.
Yeah, he thinks he's outsmarted everybody. He's like, I got this.
Yes.
He's just walking in this like, I'm so confident. Like, they're gonna believe every single word I'm saying. David strikes me as a type that will like talk to himself in the mirror, try to get himself pumped up. Like,
You got this.
You're
You
gonna
got
go in
this.
there. You're gonna talk about Tinder. You're gonna just deny. You love food, David. You talk to your food all the time. You freaking love. You make love to food, David. That's who you are.
You think food is so fine. Yeah.
Hell, you think your cousin Denise is fine. That's where you gotta go. That's where you gotta go. Anything to deny to get out of this Madison
That's
text.
where you gotta go. Oh my gosh. Well, Madison calls him out for oversharing. She says, see, that's the oversharing.
Well, Michelle calls him out.
I mean, yes, Michelle.
Madison's probably okay with it.
Yes. Michelle calls him out for the oversharing. She's like, I just feel like there's something bigger going on that I'm unaware of. He's like, there's nothing to hide. She's like, he won't even prove it with his phone. He says, it's deleted. Pastor Cal's like, look, you could easily prove this. You could say, hey, Denise, send Michelle the same text you sent me. He's like, I'm just.
What?
Wait, what? Okay.
What do you mean?
Who? He said, I'm choosing not to do it. And Pastor Cal was like, why?
You know what? It was like, you know what? I deleted Denise's information. I deleted her contact. I don't even know how to get in contact with Denise anymore.
I think Denise went on how many weeks are left in this? I think she went on a 2-week vacation in Asia. And she actually doesn't have her phone with her.
She's not a contact. You know, she doesn't want to incur roaming charges, so she has her phone off. So
she's on a silent retreat, actually. So if you try to contact her, she'll be mad. And I don't want to make Denise mad.
There's just literally no way to contact Denise, like at all.
And so Pastor, he says, so David is like, I was supposed to say Alan. David's like, I'm choosing not to do it. And Pastor Carol's like, why? And he's like, throughout this whole process, like the whole lifestyle thing, and she's constantly saying like, oh, he's not this, he's not that. So like, I've had doubts.
Here's more distraction for you. Yeah. Like, let's get away from this topic and talk about Michelle. Let's get Michelle back on the villain train here. Let's take me off being a villain. Let's put it back on Michelle where it belongs. Like, yes. I don't want to be seen as bad. We're gonna put it back on Michelle. Okay, let's talk about that and not what I did. Let's talk about what she did.
Yeah. So Michelle
just the most blatant, transparent, just off topic. Like, I'm just going to switch from that topic to the topic I want to talk about.
Yes, exactly. So Michelle's like, well, this is the first I'm hearing of this. He's like, well, I was just thinking it was like for the best to like not say it like now, like not bring it up for like. And Pastor Kyle's like, okay, like for the sake of the relationship. But David's like, yes, yes, exactly, totally. Right. And she's like, the timing is just odd. And Pastor Kyle's like, look, no one likes rejection, but you know, the fact that Michelle is saying she wants resolution, like that means that the door isn't closed completely. And David's like, is that true? He's like, sorry, I have to ask, is that true? She's like, look, every day I've wanted to quit.
Every
but I've been texting and I've been showing up. So no, the door was not closed for me.
Every minute of every day, I've wanted to quit this freaking show and this freaking marriage. But I'm here. I showed up. I showed up resenting you and hating you, but I showed up.
Exactly.
That's what matters. Because I like David's like David is really just showing his true feelings. I was like, is that true, Michelle? Like, because I'm pretty sure the door is closed. Like I've been walking around.
I've been knocking.
I've been knocking boots. I've been knocking everything.
I've tried every key.
I was pretty sure that this was over. Like that's why I've been doing what I've been doing. Like, so is it closed or is it not?
Right. So
I feel like this is a truth off, right? Like, who's gonna break first and tell the truth? Like, who's gonna?
Right?
Is David like? So he turns back on. He's like, "Is it closed, Michelle? This is your opportunity to tell the truth that you are not in this at all. And you don't want this marriage. So it's your turn to tell the truth." And she's like,
"It's like a movie." They say at the same time, "I want out."
Yeah. Oh my god.
You do?
And she's like, "No, David, it's your time to tell the truth. That you're texting Madison."
Right. So Pastor Cal, he's just like, oh,
the glasses came off.
There's just so much y'all haven't discussed. And he basically like recaps the conversation of all the stuff they're accusing each other of. He's like, it's just like you're like, screw it. And she's like, yeah, that is where we are. She's like, I just have a question. How do we get to the bottom of the text message? She's like, none of this.
Let's refocus because he really got off track.
She said, we you know, we were way over here. I need us back.
I came in for the text message. He talking about some other stuff. I'm gonna need us to turn back into the text message.
When I said, hey, can we talk to Pastor Cal? And they said about what? All I said was text message. All this other stuff.
I don't know. I don't care what none of y'all were talking about. Okay. I want to talk about the text. Yes. That's what we're here for. So focus, Pastor Cal. Focus.
Pastor Cal's like, just bring Denise into the picture. Dave's like, look, I refuse to involve her in this marriage. Pastor Cal says she is involved.
It's too late, bro.
Dave is just like, okay. I didn't think about it that way. And so Pastor Cal's, look, Michelle, you're not shy about saying things. Just ask Denise. And so then they walk.
Like, they was looking like, oh crap.
Yeah,
like,
please.
Does she have Denise's phone number? Like, he's thinking like, did they just trade numbers at the wedding?
He's like, is there any possible way that she would be contacting her?
But Pastor Cal, like, he dismisses them, but he pulled David aside. Listen, David, play it a player. Okay? Cameras are off. Like, no one's got to hear this but me and you. How good was it? Like, was it like? Where's it at? Like, tell me, play it a player. What was it like, bro? Like, come on, I've been wondering.
Did not happen.
It totally happened. You just didn't see it.
We have made up an entire.
Maybe you got a different version of the show than I did. I don't know. Like, I'm seeing all these extra scenes. I don't know what you're getting, but this is what I'm getting.
Single-handedly made this episode 3 hours.
Totally.
With all these additional scenes and additional comments.
I mean, listen, it's not my fault I get the better version of the show.
So they walk out of this place. They were talking to Pastor Cal. Pastor Cal's like, geez, man, I don't know what else I could have said.
You know what you could have said? Let's call it. Are y'all ready to call it?
This is decision day.
I feel like Michelle came in here like thinking this might have been the ready to call it moment. She was like, because
not until she found out about the truth about this text message.
That's true.
She is not ending this because once they end it, he's not entitled to tell her the truth at all.
True.
But she's like, as long as we're in it, he still owes me that.
She's like, I have renewed fervor to stay in this marriage now. Like,
I'm committed.
I got a reason now to stay here.
I'm so committed. 8 weeks.
I'll be the best wife you ever seen.
Right. She gonna start cooking. She gonna start bringing home flowers. So we get a confessional from her saying she said she felt like it was so much easier to talk to. There's a dog at my foot, out of nowhere. Michelle felt like it was so much easier to talk to David with Pastor Cal. She's like, but he's lying, and it's disrespectful to everyone involved, especially me. And so they're outside. David's like, so how was girls' night? She's
No,
like,
no, do not try make small talk, David. This
right after
he's
that,
like
he's
no.
like, what did y'all do? She's like, sound bath. He's like,
See,
oh,
this is
what?
what I'm talking about. You give me one word answers.
Yeah,
No, now I have a reason to give you one word answers.
right. And so he's like, oh, where were y'all? She's like, how come you don't want Denise to send me the receipts?
Just totally like, let's cut the bullshit. Like,
Right.
let's get down to the nitty gritty. Like, no small. Like, what'd you guys do? Like, no, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about, we're
Right.
back on the text message.
Yes. He said, well, I don't want her to. Like, he's like, you don't care, so what's the point? She's like, I do care now. He's like, well, you should have cared the day of.
So is he talking about the fact that she didn't say anything when he sent the text originally until
Yes.
today? Like,
Yes.
are you a child, David? He's just like,
Yes.
why won't you ask Denise? Because I don't want to. But why? Because I don't want to.
She's like, well, do you have a good reason why? No, because I don't want to. She's like, so you don't care about saving your reputation? Like, do you see how this makes you look? He's like, let it look like that. So she's like, well, do you know if Denise has the photo? He said, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. He's like, look, I gotta go to work. And so we get a confessional from her. She's like, I just met David for the first time today. She's like, but I do want to talk to Denise, but I do expect her to cover for him. So then we cut to a scene. David's at the apartment. He's like, well, Michelle isn't staying at the apartment. I just decided to give her some space to process. So then we finally.
He said, well, in this, he said, there's nothing else I can say or provide.
Right.
You can provide stuff. If you
Right,
had it,
David.
you would be able to provide it.
Exactly. So we finally get Michelle calling Denise. And so she's calling Denise. She's like, hey, Denise. She's like, I just wanted a rundown of the text message. Denise said, all David did was send me a message that said, hey, can you cover for me?
Bruh. The worst text you could ever get from a family member. Like, what am I going to cover for?
Right.
Talking about.
She said, and at first I was like, sure, I got you. But then when I got more information, I was like, oh, I can't be on board with that. And so Michelle's like, okay, so there was no picture of food. and Denise is like, no. And Michelle's like, okay, obviously, like I was suspicious. Like, do you know who it was? And Denise was like, no, I don't know who it was. It was very general. And so then Michelle, she's giving her diary cam. She's like, now I know that the story is a lie. He has some explaining to do. And now I have a million more questions that I need answered.
She's like, we have so much to know. Who was the text to? What was the text meant to say?
What was the
it's
context?
Like, it's like the introduction of her, like, of her 2020 special. Like, we have
said,
so
I'm
many
in this.
questions to find out. Welcome to Mythbusters, David's Text Edition.
Michelle has not cared about a single thing about David until this text message.
She has stopped being his wife, and she is now an investigative journalist.
Absolutely. She said, I'm going to get to the bottom of it. I'm going to find out the truth. If it's the last thing I do, even if I have to stay in this marriage to do it, I will do it because I will. She's like, my day and night will be consumed in figuring out this text message, which is just, I mean, it brings us back to last week's discussion about David and Michelle. I believe, so I agree with a lot of people in the Facebook group about like Michelle all of a sudden caring when she has not cared to give this guy the time of day. Like, it's just like, okay, girl, come on. Like, now you're giving this the energy that you should have been giving the marriage in the first place. However, with David, I don't believe David is just this F-boy, has been this F-boy in like a nice guy jacket this whole time. I genuinely believe David came into this marriage wanting a marriage. Like, I think that's what he came into this for. Like, it wasn't like like whatever happens, whatever. But then when he had the worst honeymoon he could have possibly had of any, like he had the worst honeymoon of all the couples here, then it's like, David probably was an F-boy growing up, like through his 20s. How old is he? Mid-30s? He's probably been living this like bachelor lifestyle, right? And now it's to the point where we're like, well, shoot, I'm not in a marriage. I'm basically a single guy. And
But
so he
then,
has reverted back to how single David would behave. Is it right that he did it in the context of this marriage? Absolutely not. Should he have called it? Absolutely. But I'm not going to go as far as to say, oh, he's just been lying. He didn't have the right intentions. I think this was not the right marriage for either one of them. And now they have both been behaving in a way. Well, obviously not her. We don't know what she's like, if there's anything going on there. Just like interested in someone else. But with David, I just feel like it's gotten to that point because of how this marriage has transpired, and he has resorted back to how single David would behave.
yeah, like we said last week, there's going to be a lot of discussion in the Facebook group about this, and there was a whole lot of discussion about in the Facebook group about this. And I felt like I got a lot of support in my side of the argument this week in the Facebook group. So I mean, yeah, we've
Those
gone back
accounts
and
must
forth,
have been muted because I ain't seen none of that. No, I'm kidding.
and I think what a lot of people have boiled this down to is who's wrong.
Yeah,
They're both wrong.
right.
Like they both suck. They are both terrible right now. The thing is, Michelle, I think, has a right to be upset, right? Because David has gone on this whole I'm still trying, I'm still in this, I'm still this, I'm still that, making her look like the lone bad guy here. Like he has put all the villainess on her plate, deservingly so. But he is all in the expert's face, like, I want this to work. I'm still trying, I'm still here. All the while, he has been texting whomever, whether it be Madison or whoever. I don't care if anything physical has happened. He is emotionally cheating on his wife. Yes, his wife, you could say in air quotes, because
Yes.
they've never really had a relationship. But I think he should have respected the process, respected the experiment enough to just keep in his pants for 2 months. Like you can't do that. Like you
For all
need.
we know, it is. Like, we don't know what has actually happened.
I'm saying the text message is enough to say you have been, at the very least, emotionally cheating, or
Yes.
or talking to someone in this way, right?
Right.
That's enough for me to say you have not respected the process. You do not expect the experiment. Yes, you have gotten a raw deal in your wife. Like she is treating you horribly, but you should be able to either, number one, just say, okay, well, I guess I'm going to tough this out for 2 months and not have companionship, not have someone to F around with. Like, I guess that's just what I have to do for the next month or 2 months. Or say, I don't want this. This isn't cool. I quit. I divorced. No one is forcing you to stay here. Yes, the producers, experts will come at you and try to convince you to stay, but no one is forcing you to stay there. There is no penalty for you to leave. There is talk of like, ooh, fines, this and that. There's no fine if you decide to get divorced early. All you have to do is continue to film. Whether when they ask you to film, you be there to film. That is your contractual obligation. It is not your contractual obligation to stay in the marriage. You can leave the marriage anytime you want. So if you have this desire to talk to people, to date or whatever, you had it within your rights. No one would have blamed you. You would have been like, do it, David. Jump ship early. You are well within your rights to jump ship.
Right.
That's what he should have done. I think where the rubber meets the road is that he has decided to talk to other women, no matter who that other women are, while he is still in this married at first sight process. It's less about Michelle for me. It's more about the process and the experiment. He agreed to be in here 2 months to focus on one person, and that only one person. He agreed to that. He's not doing that. Yes, he got a raw deal. Yes, Michelle's awful, but he agreed to come in here and only focus on Michelle.
Yes, he did do that. And I think it can't go without saying that we're not giving Madison that same energy. I know we don't have it confirmed, right? But I just think that I think the difference between the two which is why I'm probably not even being that hard on David. I'm probably hard
You're
on
not.
Michelle.
You're not.
I think it's wrong. I
But not
do.
that wrong.
um, the difference is that it still feels like Madison is okay. The fact that it's not confirmed yet is one of the main reasons. But on top of that, it still feels like Madison is, I guess, trying to respect Alan. I know they're having their like they don't see eye to eye, but there's still the level of desire that Alan has for her, which means she's clearly treating him like a decent person.
Yeah.
David has kind of resorted to well, shoot. Okay, now that I've been caught, I'm just gonna be like, this is it. We're done talking about this. He's just like now being rude to her and now making her feel like
and I do feel
awful.
like this is a David exposed party. I do feel like he's an F boy, and this is part of that. He's sitting here lying to everyone. He's lying to the other castmates. He's lying to Pastor Cal. He's lying to all of production. When he's like, I don't know why she's so mad. I was just texting my cousin about food, and all his confessionals and all
Just
his
because he got caught. What about Madison? What would happen if Madison like people knew that Madison was a part? Like, it takes two for this thing to happen.
Yeah, I'm if it comes out that Madison was part of this, I'm mad at Madison too. But I am not 100% convinced that this is Madison. I think the show is trying real hard to get us to bite on that apple. Even so far as go into the preview of like
let's get into, because there was a lot for them. So David does admit to Michelle that he was texting another girl. And then we get Michelle telling that she thinks that he was texting Madison.
And again, that sounded kind of Frankenbitey to me. And the way that they were talking on the retreat of like, and Madison storms off. I'm not sure if that's why Madison.
Let's get there. So they go to the couples retreat. This is all in the preview. They go to the couples retreat. Michelle asks Madison and Alan, like, have y'all kissed since the wedding? And they're like, no. And then Michelle's like, well, have you reached out to other women? And then Madison gets up from the table. Dave was like, okay, there needs to be no further discussion. There needs to be no further discussion. And so even if like she's not storming, or like even if Madison is not getting up at that moment because of that question, there's some type of conversation that happens with Michelle and Madison and Alan that prompts David to feel like he has to defend to stop the conversation.
But again, that all could have been, because that's all coming off camera from that David talk. Like, okay, it could have been a totally different moment. It could have been Madison going up to go to the bathroom, and then they're like, Madison's walking away. Look at that. I just think,
who gets up to go to the bathroom in the middle of dinner?
I am just not ready to bite 100%. I am probably wrong. I am 100% prepared to be wrong, but I just want to leave that little itty bitty space that is not happening within the 8 weeks. Yes, Madison and David will happen. They will get together. I am 100% certain on that. I just don't think it's within this 8-week period. I think whoever David was texting might have been that another ex-Tinder date. And if this is a David and Madison thing, and if David was sitting there with Madison and Alan, texting Madison in front of Alan, this guy is super grimy. He is super awful. Like, if that is the case, he's texting his buddy's wife right in front of him. How could you ever be a David fan?
But she's in a relationship and he's in a relationship.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, but he's in a relationship. Why would I do that?
Yeah,
I mean, listen, I am. This is my David membership card, my Team David membership card. I am officially tearing it up. I'm no longer a David fan.
Is there a world? Let's say David and Madison are together. Hypothetically.
They are together right now in the experiment. They are cheating on each other's spouses.
Yes, they're cheating on each other's spouses, and they end up together. And at the reunion, they're together and thriving. Is there a world that you root for that couple?
No, no, I don't. I don't. Because it's like it's a complete spit in the face of the process of the experiment for
Yeah,
them to do this. If you
I
wanted
guess.
out,
No, I'm
if
kidding.
you
Yes.
if you wanted out of your marriage, just leave. Just be like, all right, I I don't want to do this with you because you're being awful to me or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
Let's just end it so that I can go live my life, pursue other people. You don't sit there and say to the experts, I'm trying, I really want this to work, all the while you're cheating
Yeah.
on Michelle.
I totally agree. I do think that because like in my opinion, cheating is like the ultimate sign of disrespect in a relationship.
Yeah.
And so but in this context, it's so hard to like feel the exact same way about it because they're in zero they don't
Yeah.
even have a friendship.
Yeah. I
So
get
it's
that 100%.
yeah, so that's what makes it like this gray area.
And I think it's a lot of after the fact of the gaslighting and the
Yeah.
lying of like, what? No, I was talking
It was
about
my cousin
food.
and she was holding some exotic
You're you're
food.
crazy. I think that's where my biggest part of it is.
Now you're
Yes,
insulting my intelligence.
yeah, exactly. Like you're sitting here lying to everyone, including Pastor Cal. So I have no love for David
And the
anymore.
guys that he didn't tell nobody the truth.
Yeah, man.
Only
And
person that knew was Madison.
I was like, yeah, we know you. We know you, man. We know you wouldn't do that, but it does look weird. Like Alan, yeah, we know it.
Right.
So, like I said, if I my current belief is that it's not Madison, it's another girl he's texting, and I am totally prepared to be wrong.
But I don't think that will be confirmed next episode only because when there's a lie, no liar like this comes out with the full truth.
Right?
He's gonna come out with enough to where she thinks she has the truth now. Like it was for another girl. He
Yeah,
wouldn't be like, oh, it was for another girl and it was Madison.
yeah, and like also like on the after parties, like David and Alan were on after party together one week, and they were just like they were fine. There was no like animosity, it seemed, towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
David and Madison are going to be on this week's after party.
Oh yeah.
That'd be weird if they were on there together. They're going to be in the cheating scandal. And we know the after parties are filmed in between Decision Day and Where Are They Now. So I'm still thinking this is a Where Are They Now thing, or I don't know.
Now I feel like I was reading way too much into it.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. I am the anti-David. I'm also anti-Michelle. Don't get me wrong. Do not
Wow, a
misunderstand me.
Michelle stan.
I am not a Michelle stan, fan, or anything. I am looking for a Michelle ban. I do not like Michelle, but I also now do not like David. They both suck. They're both villains. That's that. And Madison has always been a villain, but just if she's in this cheating scandal, she's even more of a villain.
Mm-hmm.
So listen,
Yeah.
it's complicated.
Woof.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to get to the bottom of this to actually get some answers.
Right. Because I think that'll be, if it's confirmed, it'll look even worse on Madison because Madison is the one that is like, that looks more like cheating.
Yeah, I mean, Madison and Alan
They
have more
actually
of a
are.
relationship than
Yeah.
Michelle and David, so that would
Yeah.
even be worse
Yeah.
if Madison's doing all these expert visits, putting out there that there may be a possibility of some sexualness somewhere down the
Mhm.
line, and talking about she cares about Alan and all this. That would definitely be a super bad look. Like you
Yeah.
can like say what you want about Michelle, right? But she has been upfront and honest every single moment of this thing.
Mhm.
Yes, she's done it in a terrible, boorish manner,
Right.
but she's been upfront and honest.
Yeah. All right. That's it for episode 13. Thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We had a lot to discuss, on topic and not. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed where you can get all of our podcasts, as well as leave us a 5-star review. Make sure you go join the Facebook group where this week the password is Tom Much Information. Jason, where can people keep up with you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, JR33D. You can find me on the podcast, The Good Pod, where me and Marissa Garza talk about the Good Wife and the Good Wife related properties. And that's me. What about you, Aysha?
You can find me everywhere at Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. So yeah, Blue Sky, Instagram mainly. And yeah, just give me a follow. Or if you're looking for a gift for a friend, a Valentine's Day gift, I'm on Cameo. So you can find me there. But yeah, until until next week, we'll be back to talk about episode 14. And so hopefully we get some juicy stuff with the couples retreat.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.